Hello everybody, we are officially live. We'll put in my awesome friends in just a bit. I'm just gonna fix this last thing. Here we go. Okay guys, we are now officially live.
Hello.
Hello.
Good thing. It's us. If anyone watched us last time, just move to a different day. Playing Dungeons and Dragons again. Suppose we should recap what happened last time. The party bumped into each other in a small, not quite out of the way city called Pegler's Stoop in the country of Bastion. We had a meeting between Cormac, a hungover cleric, Grimold, a honest and polite dwarven fighter, and Nimble, a fairly shy and stealthy gnome ranger. Grimold and Cormac came looking for work and instead found themselves in various pubs, getting into various situations like drinking a beer so bad it caused Cormac to throw up.
Lovely times.
Grimold nearly getting run over by a dog. So, Sam, sorry, Skype messages. From there, you found a job, which was guarding some supplies as they were moving north towards a small village called Windrush. The Grimold and Cormac both signed up for this job, with Nimble following along behind for some distance, where the party got into a little bit of trouble with a group called the Blood-Eye Bandits, who were dispatched quite handily, Grimold and Cormac taking some fairly light wounds, before the group all moved off together, having rescued a merchant called Reginald, with a little bit of help from another merchant called James Atherton. The party is now moving north through the Halfwoods, if you can see on the map, which hopefully is set up.
Let's see if we can... Yes?
Moving northwest to Windrush. And as we come back to the action, a strange looking creature, or at least it looks like a creature, some kind of humanoid form, has leapt out onto the road behind them and has started to rush at the back of the caravans with remarkable speed. At this point, it's a very, very simple scenario. There's a couple of wagons that are rolling slowly northwest, with a scree slope that drops away on the western side and a thick pine forest on the eastern side. The path is just about narrow enough for these wide enough rather for these wagons to make it along in single file. Nimble is in the front carriage with Reginald, the merchant, who is a terrible shot with his crossbow, as we found out last time. And Grimold and Cormac are sat in the carriage closest to this creature, with James Atherton driving that one. So, with that, if we could all roll for initiative. Thank you.
And that was... oh right, never mind. Where's my...
In your case, you have a feat called Alert, which gives you a +5 to your passive initiative.
Mm-hmm.
But you are not particularly dexterous, which gives you a -1, so it's a +4 in total for you, Cormac.
/ roll d20 plus
That's
4.
That's a 15 for you, Grimold.
Oh, do you add your dexterity to that as well? Sorry.
A +1, yeah. So yours will
Yeah,
be
so
6.
16.
Would
Sorry.
mine be +5 then?
Yours will be in your case, Nimble. You get a +3 for your dexterity, because that's what applies to initiative rolls, and another +5 for the fact that you're a ranger. So
+8.
that's +8 in total, yeah.
I see
Wow.
that my rolls are still as amazing as last time.
Yeah, dude. If I hadn't gotten that 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I just need to roll for a couple of the NPCs involved in this.
Starting with combat, how exciting.
Well, switching up from last time, there's a lot of wandering around and bumbling into places. So we start at the very top of the round with you, Grimold. You are sat in the back of the wagon, being jostled around amongst a bunch of crates, boxes. There's sacks of flour that are piled up in the back of this wagon. You can hear fluid sloshing around inside some of the barrels, and from where you are, sort of just leaning out, looking at this strange creature that's eyes have just lit up with a baleful red glow. It is now your turn.
What to do?
I don't know. Can I have a lower initiative?
You can hold your action
No, I
if
suppose
you
I've got
want
to
to
do
wait
something.
till something happens before you do something. If holding your action, or you can also move as well if you want to jump out the back of the wagon or anything like that.
Was
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump out the back of the wagon.
You're going to jump out the back of the wagon.
Yeah.
so we see this creature, right?
From where you are, even with a high passive perception, no one has shouted anything yet, and it really was Cormac and Grimold at the end of the last session who had noticed this, as you had chosen not to sit in the same wagon as the... Oh, there was one other thing I failed to mention, of course. Nimble found a animal companion in a giant weasel, who she has named Sly. And she and Sly are currently riding with Reginald.
You can see Sly in the
James.
picture to the right on the stream.
A nice little quick drawing that I made.
Yeah.
Nothing too fancy.
Here's Sly. Is that
I
his
can't
mouth
see
or
it.
nose?
Because it will kill my internet, but I'm sure it's better than Sam's drawing of Tilly.
No, it's not. I love
No.
the.
No,
Oh.
It's not a drawing. It's the frozen webcam again.
nothing's better than that. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm gonna jump out the wagon and shout, "I think we've got company."
Okay, in that case, if you could make an acrobatics check as you leap out the back of this
To speak.
relatively rapidly
Your
moving
accent.
wagon.
To speak. Sorry, I forgot about the accent. I think we've got company. It's not great today. It's not great.
I enjoy it. So it's a D20 plus 1.
Thank you.
What's he rolling for?
I got a 6
Matic.
and a
So-
broken nose, probably.
Yeah.
You leap out, you fall out of the back of the wagon, catching your toe on the gate, which is, as you stand in the back of the wagon, only slightly lower than your chest at this point. It's quite a high gate on the back of this to hold all the wares in the back. You push up and over it with no problem, even wearing the heavy armor, but your foot catches and you trip and you land face first in the gravelly path. It stings, but you are currently prone. You've used a little of your movement to jump over the back, and it will use up a good half of your remaining movement, unfortunately, to stand up from being prone, which means you would not be able to get close enough to the scarecrow to melee attack it. Damn it. Giveaway there to the construct.
Is it a scarecrow?
As now that you take a look at it, it does look strangely like some scarecrows that you've seen in farms passing by on the
Right.
way to.
Is it a harvester?
So I'm gonna shout, "I think we've got company," and then maybe draw some weapons. Yeah, I'll draw my sword and shield if that's okay.
You don't have a sword, my friend.
My warhammer and shield. It's been 6 days.
I remember everything apart from.
Remember
You know.
my name.
Okay, remember you also have your throwing axes as well if you want to do something involving those.
No, I'll do what I said for now.
So you draw your weapons and ready yourself as the wagon slowly sort of start to roll away from you, and with that, it brings us to Reginald's turn. So
Fuck
he
you,
starts to
Reginald.
panic somewhat. Looks around. Oh, what's going on? You take a look out the back. I'm gonna see if we can get some speed up. I don't want those bloody bandits catching me again. And he just whips the horses and starts moving ahead slightly faster, which brings us to Cormac, your turn, in the back of the wagon, as you've just watched Grimold gracefully leap out of the back, falling headfirst
Yeah,
into the road.
he looks down at his companion and says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then he steps down onto onto his dwarven friend, using him as a step if possible, and readies his weapons and grabbing the sword and shield.
Grimold, do you accept this being used as a footstool?
I can't do anything about it. Can I really?
You could try and foil the attempt. It would basically be making a strength check to assist or not to assist.
No, he's just gonna have to do it. Yeah, let him do it.
Grimold allows himself to be used as a footstool. In that case, could you make a strength check for me, Grimold?
Of
Or an
course.
athletics check, we'll say in this
Cormac.
case.
Athletics check. That's good. I've got good athletics. So is that?
I just belittle this dwarf.
So I've got a +3 proficiency and a +5.
Hello, Alien Man.
5 athletics.
So +3 strength and
Strength.
a +2 from your proficiency
Oh,
in
so it's
athletics,
+5,
which means that you
sorry,
have a +5 total. Yeah, no
I need
problem.
to change that.
That's
Yeah,
a critical fail.
Yeah.
Okay.
God damn it, man! Your day sucks.
Okay, so we're starting with the high rolls. Excellent. Okay, so as you go to brace, as you watch what's clearly about to happen, you've got a bit of a read on Cormac so far. You can see the kind of thing he does. He rushes straight down hills at bandits. He's probably going to use a dwarf as a stepping stone. You brace, expecting to catch his boot with your hand. He goes peg leg first, missing your hand completely, digging it straight into a bundle of nerves in your shoulder. This causes you to reel away slightly.
Ow.
And Cormac goes face down in the road as well.
God damn it! I don't get to roll like a dexterity roll for that.
You can make a dexterity check to see if you manage to remain on your feet. So
Okay.
for you, that's a d20 -1.
God.
Amazing! We're dead. Second
Straight down start
episode. We're dead.
I'm here to save the day. Don't you worry. You just act as bait.
If you would have
Yes.
been here today, Tilly,
You
without
most
me,
definitely fall flat on your face. Sorry, I just had to take a moment to stop myself from crying with laughter. Wow, what a roll! That's not a critical fail though, but you still fall over. You don't take any damage from the blow. You're sort of braced for it, expecting the worst. You can still stand. You can still stand up. Again, you just won't be able to make it into close range with this scarecrow that you can now clearly see before you.
it's cool. I'm one step ahead of the dwarf anyway, so sure.
So if you push yourself back to your feet,
Oh yeah, dust myself
Okay.
off.
and then you have action and bonus action if you want to take them.
All right, I do. What do I get to do again?
With your actions, you can cast a spell. Bonus actions at the moment, you won't have very much that you can do with those, but there are other things that you can do later on, and there are also certain spells that cost a bonus action to cast, meaning that you can potentially, as a cleric, throw off like a light heal and then make a melee attack, for example.
But can I save that, or do I need to use it now?
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything at all. If you want to just... Because I'm not sure if you have any ranged weapons, that's the thing.
I
Or do
do
you
have
have
a
some-
throwing knife.
You have daggers, again, so you could throw a knife at the creature if you wanted to.
Well, I'm throwing a knife at the creature.
Okay, so it's your strength in this case, as it's a thrown weapon, so you choose which you use,
Mhm.
and your proficiency, so it's a +4, a d20 +4.
Oh yeah, I'm back in business.
Okay, you throw the dagger and it slams into the chest of this creature. A little puff of straw comes out of the back, and it looks like it gets pushed back slightly more from the force of the impact than you'd expect. Roll damage.
And that's one.
A d4 +2 in this case, because it's the dagger's damage, which is a d4 plus your strength modifier, which is +2.
Suck on that.
Okay. And now you watch as the dagger slams into this creature, and then it sort of, rather than sticking as you expected it would to, it just kind of drops out and lands on the floor at the creature's feet, and the creature sort of looks down at it and then back up at you. And now that brings us, after your action, to Nimble's turn.
Alright, so Reginald kind of kept the caravan going, right?
So it's accelerated a little bit away from the carriage behind you with James, who's now sort of just scanning around him nervously.
Okay, I'd probably let it take me like a little bit ahead just so I got some distance. And then I'd leap out.
Okay, you
Hello,
Make an acrobatics
Dennis,
check in that case as well.
my man.
d20
D&D.
+5.
Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's the amount I was looking for jumping out of the back of a slowly moving wagon. You easily land on your feet, no problem.
Alright,
OP is
ready
fun.
my bow and an arrow.
Okay. Is Sly
but
coming
I,
with
like-
you, or is...
Yeah, Sly is coming with.
Sly, my man.
Okay. I wouldn't fire yet. I just like try to observe, see what's going on.
You can still move around if you want to. You still got most of your movement left, even if you don't move particularly quickly.
I basically just try to position myself where I got the creature in a good angle without any chance of harming my allies.
So you move off into the forest side to your left. It would be at this point. Sly following.
Yep.
Yeah, he. Let's make the weasel do a dice roll as well. So his dexterity is +3. So if you do a d20 +3, it's a
failure. Not the most graceful weasel we have here.
Sly, clearly unaccustomed to leaping heroically down from the back of a wagon. Oh, sorry, girlfriend wants some food. Not the most graceful creature, not accustomed to jumping down from the back of a moving wagon at this point. He trips a little bit, rolls, squeaks slightly, and then shakes himself, the dust off his back, and climbs to his feet as well. You, at this point, are already moving off into the woods, as accustomed to traveling alone as you are at this point. And from here, you can see the backs of your companions, and you can also see this strange creature quite clearly now as it moves up towards you.
Did I see Cormac try to hurt it with the dagger?
It would have just happened just as you're sort of moving around, the dagger slamming into this creature's chest, and then just sort of dropping back out.
And it didn't.
It looks like it.
Any.
It looks like it damaged it a little.
Okay. I just stay idle for now, with my bow at the ready.
You can hold your action if you want to, because you haven't used it until something happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Clever girl.
What's the trigger? Do you wanna? What would you like to wait for? So just to clarify, when you hold your action, you need to sort of specify something. So say in the sake of this, you could say when the creature moves to attack, you shoot it. That would be a trigger.
That's what I had in mind.
And that is what will happen. Now, James, at this point, he sort of looks down as you leap out from was looking around as you leapt out from the back of the wagon. He's unsure of what's going on, but noticing that Reginald has continued to move forward, he chooses to do the same, and the wagons slowly start to pull away from you now as they're moving forwards. Which brings us to the scarecrow.
To the what? Did he die?
The scarecrow. I have already described it as such. This bizarre-looking bundle of rags with glowing red eyes. A couple of dirty-looking metal claws jut out from its sleeves, and it rushes forward and makes a claw attack against each of you.
How big was it, approximately?
It's about human-sized.
Alright.
It doesn't look particularly imposing until its eyes light up. That's a couple of very bad attack rolls. So that's an 8 and a 5, which will miss both of you, even without your shields on, wouldn't it? So, as the creature lumbers up to you, its movement sort of clumsy and jerky, you find them relatively easy to predict at this point, and you just both instinctively duck out of the way as the slashing claws rush past your faces. One lower and one higher. And at this point, you can make your attack.
Who?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've got to stop doing that. Nimble, you held your action. You can make your attack.
Yeah, I'd like to fire while they're ducking.
So that's 1d20 plus 5. Okay, the attack hits. If you roll for damage, which is a 1d8 plus...
Oh wait. No wait, yeah, 1d8 plus 3, yeah. So, the attack slams into the creature. It cuts through the arm a little, and you notice it pushes through, though there seems to be some sort of unnatural resistance to this again, and the arrow just sort of slides out on the other side of this construct and drops out onto the floor with a clatter. Again, not having quite as much of an impact as you would have expected it to. Okay.
And that brings us back to the top of the turn. Grimold, you are now not face to face, he's significantly taller than you, but face to chest with this foul-smelling bundle of rags and straw.
Okay.
that is
So,
fighting
okay.
it with an unusual silence after the ungodly screams it was making earlier.
I'm gonna try and hit it with my hammer.
Okay, make an attack roll.
So that's a
A D20
is
plus 5. Yeah, because it's your strength in this case and your proficiency modifier. Are you swinging two-handed or are you swinging with one hand?
I've got a shield in my other hand. So.
Okay, so one-handed.
Nine.
So you swing at the creature, and just as it looks like you're about to make an impact, the creature ducks unnaturally back, twisting in on itself slightly, and the hammer swings past its chest. Remember, you have a bonus action as well. You have your one of your fighter abilities, should you need to use it.
Yeah, no, not yet. It's for additional HP, so I don't need to use that.
Oh, is it second wind? It's a heal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now back up to Reginald, who's moving away at this point. From where he is, completely oblivious, just continues moving the wagons down the road. And not sparing too much of attention to anything that's going on behind him, assuming that you three will have it handled. Cormac, it is now your turn.
Finally. Well, Cormac wants to light this bitch up, if that's possible.
What would you like to use?
Yes, about that. I don't really remember my spells.
Okay, let me check your sheet, see what you've got saved on here. Ah, there aren't any spells saved on my sheet, dude.
No, mine neither.
Okay,
That's
let
like,
me just have a very quick look in...
I can read his
Player's
family
handbook.
story.
Maybe not yet. Maybe that's time for a tavern episode, but I have... So, for example, one of the spells... I think we have
You're
Square
cutting
at
out.
first level. Fog...
You said
Can
what?
you hear me now?
Ah,
Am I cutting out still?
it's
No.
like it cuts out just when you want to say something important.
Yep.
It's for real. It's so weird.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Fine.
try.
Okay, so for being a Tempest Cleric, at first level you get two spells that you always know. Fog Cloud and Thunder Wave. Fog Cloud being exactly what it sounds like, Thunder Wave being a sort of area effect around you that deals fun. At level 1 as well as you also have 3 cantrips, you know, and then you have 2 first level slots. So, let me bring up the spell cards that I use. In this case, you might have, for example, one of your trips could be something called Sacred Flame, which effectively is a radiant damage attack. So, you know, the school associated with divine things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you can use as many times as you want to in a day, obviously as long as it's your turn, and it doesn't use any spell slots. There are, on first level things, depending on which spells you'd have chosen, there's stuff like Cure Wounds or Bless kind of thing in there. Something that you will need to go through when we're not streaming at that point. But it depends basically. Do you want to do the max damage that you can for this, potentially?
Yes.
Or would you heal, or what would you like to do?
Can I get to pick 2, right?
At the spell that you... Bear with me just a sec. Tells you how many spells you can have prepared. You bugger. Yeah, you prepared a list of clerics available for you to cast, choosing from the cleric spell list. Besides the level spells that you know for being a Tempest Cleric. So you choose a number of spells equal to your Wisdom modifier plus your Cleric level. So you at the moment, having a Wisdom of 16, can have
Plus,
4 spells prepared.
4
Not
spells.
include... Yes. But you can... Obviously, you've got 2 spell slots. You have to choose which of those 4 spells you want to cast in a day at this point. It seemed quite stingy at level 1, but it builds up quite quickly.
Which one?
Oh, the number of spells that you can actually cast in a day. You only get 2 slots.
Okay, so I
Twice.
in that case I want What was that ability? The one that sancti thingy.
Sacred Flame, that's a cantrip, so that could be one of your free cantrips.
Okay, yeah.
It's a
And
cantrip.
A cantrip it comes from the words, it's a Latin word, I think, meaning trick, but it's effectively just a spell that you can cast the same way that like a fighter makes a melee attack or a ranger makes a bow attack.
With
It's like, yeah, so you could have something like mending, for example, which can fix something that's broken, like you could put a key back together with it, as an example.
Yep.
And then there's another cleric's cantrip called Spare the Dying, so you can touch a living creature at 0 hit points. The creature becomes stable. That sort of thing.
Got it.
But if you want my recommendation, Cormac, take at least one healing spell.
That's what I thought. One healing spell, but I'm contemplating the other one.
Okay, so for your cantrips, just for the sake of simplicity, say Sacred Flame at this point, Guidance, and Spare the Dying, just in case. I'd say would be the 3 that would be most sensible for you to take.
I'll
if you
take
write those
Spare
on
the
for your
Dying.
Yeah, and you get 3, remember. So Sacred Flame, Spare the Dying, and Guidance would be the ones I'd recommend, and you can choose, as you should have, outside of the stream, and I can help you a bit more then. But we want to get things moving again, or rolling, so to speak, as there are wagons in the front.
Okay, okay.
Boo.
So, can I use my Sacred Flame on him?
Yeah, in which case he needs to make it. It's not one that you roll to attack with. This is one of the ways that spells work slightly differently. In this case, so for the sake of favor, lightning radiance. A bolt of lightning streaks down towards the scarecrow's head, and now the creature must attempt to make a dexterity saving throw, and fails. So it now takes, if you would roll for me, and this shows the difference between a cantrip and attack. You don't add your ability modifier to this, so it just takes 1d8 damage.
I thought, since it's, I thought I could light him up, but okay. The 1d8.
1d8.
Oh yay! Fuck.
Your rolls are incredible. So it looks as if the scarecrow has just managed to push itself out of the way when the lightning streaks down slightly and just flashes through its form, and it starts to smolder in places. And it looks as if this attack at least has had the full effect you'd expect it to have.
I rolled a 1. What the
You
hell?
rolled a 1. You did.
Like
That's what
second
happens when you
time.
don't prepare your spells in advance, isn't it? You know, you get punished by the dice gods.
But does that it's rigged? Just like my game. I mean, what? So can I just mash him then, or am I done?
It depends on whether that was an action or a bonus action. And I think, because it's got a range attack on it, normally you'd be at disadvantage casting a ranged attack against a creature that's right up next to you, but in this case it's because it forces a dexterity throw. That doesn't matter. This is your action, so you'd only have your bonus action and your movement left this turn. But the way that movement works, if you move away from the creature, outside of its area of influence, so to speak, it gets a reaction attack against you.
Okay, so
If you have anything you can do as a bonus action, that's fine. And if you really want to move away, you could risk it, but that's your choice.
no, I don't want to move away.
Okay. So you are, yeah. To explain it in this case, Sacred Flame is something that a cleric might take if they don't have any strong melee options. There are different types of cleric that focus purely on being spellcasters, whereas the build that you've gone for is a little bit of melee and a fair bit of spellcasting at this point.
Exactly. Okay, so well,
Yes. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything that you get specially for being a Tempest cleric that relates to doing damage of a particular type. So here it is. Yeah, proficiency. Yeah, that is it so far. You did also, when you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to cause the creature to make a dexterity save throw. So your thunderous rebuke thing that you get for being a Tempest cleric, the creature has to actually hit you for you to be able to use it.
use what?
Your thunderous rebuke.
Okay.
So
Wrath of the Storm. You know, that the first level.
Yeah, Wrath of the Storm I
Cleric
remember.
ability.
Is that the same thing?
No, that's different. This does 2d8 lightning or thunder damage, your choice, on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one, and it's something that's triggered when you're hit. So it's the first reaction that you've encountered.
Okay.
So moving on from there, Nimble. It is eventually your turn.
Alright, I'd probably try to take a look around me, see if there's any
Make
torches.
a perception check.
Alright.
Still.
So in your case, it's your wisdom modifier +1 and your proficiency bonus of +2, making +3.
The build that I will recommend people that are beginners to play is going to be Malefic Grasp,
What the hell?
Absolute Corruption,
What the hell?
Siphon Light,
What is that?
Is that
Grimoire
Soren?
of
Dude.
Sanctity, and Soul Conduit. No.
Kick him from the core.
Alright, it's done.
What the hell? Who was that?
That was
Kebabs.
Kebabs, the poker. Ah, wow, what a bastard.
I even looked at it. I'm like, Discord, what's happening?
I looked at everything, I was like, what the hell?
Okay, so you take a look around. At the moment, the only thing that you can see are your two companions and this strange scarecrow-like creature that
So I see
fighting
no
each other.
fire of any kind.
You for critically failing a perception check, are but just about aware of your surroundings at this point.
Alright,
The stress of combat has gotten to you just a little bit, and your senses aren't as sharp as they usually are.
can I look in my bag, see if there's any way I can make any fire? Notice that I have some torches, but that would take some time to light up, I guess.
You can light a torch. I'd say you could probably light a torch as an action, throw it as a bonus action.
Just
What's
gotta
up?
make sure, is the scarecrow standing on grass or like cobble?
It's stone.
Alright, good. Caring
But
about nature and
you-
everything.
I like it. I like it. Okay,
It's
so
standing
make
next
a-
to me
just
and the
make a-
human.
Just a dexterity check. Bear in mind at this point she could have moved so she's parallel with the creature, if that's what she chooses to do. So neither of you are likely to get hit by anything that she throws.
I've
Okay.
So in this
seen
case,
tonight's rolls.
Just a dexterity check, which is a d20 +3, to see how quickly and efficiently you can light the torch. Just, yeah, it's not too much an issue. A few quick flicks of your what's the word? A flint and steel, and a little bit of swearing in Gnomish. The torch bursts into flame.
Alright, I'd throw it at the creature.
Okay, so you're not going to be proficient in throwing torches necessarily, but you're still quite quick. So just a dexterity attack. I'd say a d20 +3.
22.
That hits. Okay, in this case, roll. What would we say that would be? Having a flaming torch thrown at you. So, fun of being a DM, you get to improvise in situations like this, and I'm sure there's something in the rule book to say specifically what throwing a torch that's lit could do damage-wise, but yeah, I don't care about that. I'd say roll 2d4. Okay, so the torch effectively bounces off the scarecrow.
Wow.
But there's a brief flash of fire that spreads over the creature, from where the torch impacts on its right arm at this point, and it leaves it singed and dangling almost uselessly. And the creature looks around, and you swear for a second, Nimble, it almost looks like some kind of expression of fear creeps across its creepy sackcloth face.
Alright. Yeah.
Okay, so now, James moving up the road, taking a look around. And now... You hear him shout, "Where? Bandits in the woods!" And he fires a crossbow off the path into the undergrowth, which slams directly into a tree trunk before it makes it too much further into the woods. He's about, at this point, a good 30-40 feet behind you, Grimold, as he's moving up the road just behind Reginald. Okay, so that's that. And the Scarecrow, from where he is going to, having taken a brief look around from the source of the damage that's hit him, he is going to make a swing, first of all, at Cormac. Now watch. Cormac,
Yep.
what's your AC?
Allow me to look at my 16, but 18 with my shield up, and I guess
Yeah,
it's
okay.
up.
So he slams at you with the with its claw, but you get your shield up in time, and it just glances and scrapes across the surface with an unnatural as it grinds across the metal. And now Scarecrow is going to disengage and run away from you, which means you both get an attack of opportunity as a reaction if you choose to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so make melee attacks. So that's a D20 plus 5. And a plus 4 for you. Sorry, Cormac. Your sword. There is a feat called Warcaster. Wow, these rolls this evening.
It's fucking bugged! It's been like this since we started. What the fuck?
Okay, so you both swing, and the creature just ducks instinctively out of the way from the low Warhammer swing and the fairly high sword attack, and then just spins away and rushes off at you, Nimble. Closing the distance with an almost unnatural speed, and makes its second claw attack against you.
Okay, what do I do?
Okay, so that is a 21 to hit. So, yeah, I believe that hits. Everything's gone very quiet, I'm slightly worried.
I don't know what I should do.
But yeah, and in this case, if something hits you, it just hits you. There are certain provisos you can do, but I think as a ranger at your level, there's nothing that you can do as a reaction to the attack at this point. But you take from that, what a high roll, 4 plus. So you take 5 slashing damage, and I need you to make a Wisdom saving throw. So that's a D20 plus 1 in your case, as you're not proficient in Wisdom saving throws.
Plus what? 1.
1, yeah, because your Wisdom modifier.
21.
A natural 20. Again. There are other dice rolls besides, below 10 and 20.
Sorry.
Okay, so you feel a wave of unnatural dread sort of starting to creep over you, but then you look up at this construct which you've already burned, and you just shake the fear off, and it has no effect. So with that, it brings us to the top of the round, and Grimold, it's on you again, my dwarven friend.
So the Scarecrow's running away from me now.
He is rushed off, sort of directly past where you are, as you're fighting side by side with Cormac, and he's rushed off into the woods where Nimble has moved up somewhat to throw the torch without risk of hitting either of you, and has slashed across Nimble. So, did you mark that on your character sheet, the damage, by the way?
Was it 5?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so, again, you would be close enough relatively easily that you could rush at it and swing your axe, or your hammer, rather.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll rush at him.
Okay.
And hit him.
You rush him. You're flanking him, so I'd say the attacker has advantage.
I'll
It's
throw
both
my
you
soap
and-
at him and make him trip.
I don't think you can do that as a reaction.
So I roll D20 plus 5, yeah?
That's fine, yeah.
So, yeah. Do I get to roll again, you say, with advantage?
Yeah, with advantage, because you're on one side and Nimble's on the other.
So let's hope for something higher than a 1 this time. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, boy.
So you swing at its back and just miss. You swing too early as you're rushing over, as you watch the gnome get attacked, and just swing wide with your warhammer.
Cool.
At this point, these whiffs are ridiculous, guys. You see, as Reginald has now noticed, and there are a number of crossbow bolts that are starting to stick out the sides of the wagon. He takes a shot into the forest off on his right-hand side as well. Slightly better. You hear a cry of pain from the undergrowth.
We're all gonna
fine.
die, guys.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'll be
No,
alright.
we're not dying. It's just that we can't roll for shit.
It's a minor setback.
I'm sorry. I'm fine. Everything's okay. I'm not about to lose my shit laughing. Okay, so Cormac, it's now your turn. The fierce dwarven fighter rushes over and completely misses the scarecrow.
Can I do like a lore check to see what kind of thing this is?
Yeah. Sorry, it's something I should have mentioned. Any kind of perception checks or rolls to see if you can figure out what something is. I treat them as free actions, so it's something you quickly rack your brain to see if you know anything about this kind of creature.
Yeah, that's what I want
So
to
in
do.
this case, it would be an Arcana check.
Which is intellect, right?
Yeah, and if you're proficient in Arcana, you add +2.
No, but investigation.
Nope, because it's not investigating something.
But I have
It's-
+1.
You have a +1 to your intelligence.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a D20 +1.
Make them roll.
Okay, so you've heard a little bit about these kinds of constructs. You know, you've never encountered one that someone decided to make out of straw and cloth, apparently, but you have encountered in your travels metallic constructs, stone constructs, the kind of things that a wizard might enchant to keep their home safe, to act as a sort of magical guard dog, effectively in human form, both for how intimidating they are, and also because of how relatively easy they are to maintain.
So it's driven on magic.
It's quite clearly magical.
Okay.
From the attacks that you've seen hit it with just puffs of straw emanating from it without it taking too much damage, to the amount of damage it seemed to take and how much it drew its attention when it was hit by a flaming attack. You're certain that there's some kind of magic involved with this creature.
There's some kind of magic involved with this creature. I want to slash it.
Okay, so you rush over. D20 +4.
Yeah. Oh fuck! What did I just do?
That's a very good question.
I removed. Oh, there we go. It's back. Okay, roll D20 +4, right?
Yes.
Ah.
Okay, so he rolled a 1.
What is happening?
And of course you can go to the bathroom. That's no problem at all. You just let us know. What the fuck? I've never seen anyone roll this number of 1s.
It's a computer system. It's Skynet. It's against us. It's the final boss.
Google Hangouts is actually the final boss of the campaign. How did you guess? Okay, so again, you swing, and duplicating the same mistake that you just watched Grimold make, you just pass clean over the head of this creature with your long sword.
And he
missing
wants
it
to
completely.
say, it must be magic. It's
Okay, it's a bit of a problem that Tilly's just nipped to the toilet because it is in fact her turn.
I am here. I just.
Oh, you are.
passed.
Okay.
Did you
in
just
that
pee
case,
in a bottle?
you're
No, I didn't.
So you have a strange construct bearing down on you. It smells like something's rotting inside it, and just a dirty cloth and straw, almost like a sick animal. Strangely enough, if you were to attack with your longbow at this point, you'd have disadvantage,
I'm
which
trying to use
would.
my daggers.
You're going to use your daggers? Okay, in that case, if you make you can, because you're dual wielding them, you can make an attack with each one as your action and one as your bonus action.
Which means.
So, you roll for your right. Are you right or left-handed for the sake of your character?
Left.
So make a roll of your left hand first. So that's a D20 +3 because it's a dexterity attack again. So as you put your longbow over in a deft action and slash out with your daggers, that hits. So. Getting carried by what you thought was a child, Cormac. How does it feel? It's in the case of
good,
your main
actually.
hand, it's a D4 +3 for the dagger because it's a dexterity modifier plus the dagger's damage. Okay, So you slash at it, and you open up a cut in it, but it doesn't seem to dig quite as deep as you'd expect it to. And then you slash again with your right hand, your offhand. So that's a again, it's a D20 plus. Yeah, it would be again dexterity and proficiency. A D20 plus 5 to
Plus
hit
5.
with that.
I had 3 earlier.
Oh, in that case, that would have definitely hit. Sorry, because it's your dexterity plus your proficiency modifier. So it's a D20 plus 5 to hit.
Oh, okay. OP as fuck. I'm out of this.
Nice.
Okay, so your next attack with the hand that you're less familiar with using the working move, you're slightly shaken and it just misses the creature as it ducks back out of the way slightly.
Alright, can I retreat to get some distance?
Okay, if you move back, it would be able to use its reaction to get an opportunity attack against you.
Don't do it. Does she know that though?
You would be aware that if something is hostile and trying to attack you, showing your back to it or attempting to move away gives it an advantage that it is going to press, as long as it has any form of intelligence in the slightest.
It's magic. We don't know if it's controlled.
She'd still probably panic a little, and she'd be more comfortable at a distance, so she'd probably try to pull back anyway.
So as you rush back, duck away and try and move into the woods, the scarecrow makes an attack against you. The attack, it seems like it's used to fighting larger creatures, and the claw, you just feel it like shink above your head and slam into one of the tree boles on this side as you nimbly duck under some branches, crawl under some roots, and then rush into the undergrowth as far as your little legs will carry you.
Right.
So,
be right back real quick.
so now James's turn. Engaging a crossbow duel with the bandits in the woods on that side. Not getting any assistance, he misses. It's now the scarecrow's turn, who takes a moment to look around, head twisting all the way around on its neck as it looks back at the two of you.
Ugh.
Looks into the woods, looks back again, and this time its body follows with it, and it makes a claw attack against each of you again.
He can try. The fool of a took.
So, what did you say your AC of your shield was? Sorry.
18, bruh.
Yeah, man, just a couple of tanks in this party. So again, as you simultaneously raise your shields, getting used to its fighting style, you're both right-handed, I take it.
No.
You're left-handed too.
Grimold is
Yeah.
right-handed.
Grimald is right-handed, so
No, wait, he's
shield-
right-handed. Right-handed. Never mind. I changed my mind.
okay, so shield on both of your left hands. You just simultaneously raise your shields, and there's that same horrible scraping sound as the claws connect and just scrape down the shields. These rolls this evening, including my own, are just pure garbage. Okay,
We
so
need to level up.
it will happen. A couple more crossbow bolts fire out from the woods behind you to the point where you wouldn't see it, but for the sake of narrative. And there's just a couple of funk as they slam into the sides of the wagons behind you.
Reggie, my man.
And sorry, my girlfriend is just having a cough. Hang on.
Is that mustaches on his curtains? Nice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Let's
it's
see.
now Grimold. It is your turn.
I'm gonna attempt to attack. This,
Okay, D20
Good.
plus 5, please, buddy.
hang on, let me get the right chat up. D12. These lucky sneezers.
Yeah.
Hey!
Natural 20.
Oh, that's nice.
Of course.
20 plus
Okay.
5. It's about time. Can we
So-
just have some mediocre rolls?
Okay, so
No.
yeah,
No,
just
we can't.
averages.
So,
Okay, so that's a roll your d8 first, as I handle
Yeah.
crits slightly differently than I think I've seen other DMs do it. So roll a d8,
yeah.
just
Do
by
I do
itself,
the-
no modifier.
It's 4.
Okay, now your choice. Do you want to roll again or do you want to double that?
I'll roll again. So do I just add the 2 together then?
Yeah, and then you add your modifier. Plus
Oh, right, okay.
3.
Hey!
Oh,
Uh,
so that's
so-
roll 2 4s plus 3, so that's 11 damage in total with one swing of your mace. Again, you impact and you can feel something break inside the creature, but it seems to sort of flex around the blow in an unnatural manner. So that was 11 damage total. So rounding down, that's 5. Okay, so just so you guys are aware, this is just a bit of an introductory fight to get you used to the concept of resistance.
This particular creature is resistant to non-magical attacks. And so when you're swinging normal weapons at it, or hitting it with arrows from a distance, it takes half the damage it normally would from each impact. So it's not impossible to kill, it is just tough from a mundane perspective. Okay, and now we are to Reginald again, who, firing into the woods, hits another one of the bandits. This fucking guy is doing the business. I roll my d8 onto the floor. It rolls under my desk. Oh shit, hang on a second.
Mike, you're stalling.
He's looking for his dice.
Who opened a bottle of rum? I heard that.
I was sipping my water, if that's
I
alright.
am back, I am sorry. I was overzealously rolling my dice and I threw it.
It's okay.
I threw it on the ground.
You hear a sort of gurgling
Stop.
wet cry from the woods behind you, and you hear a kind of yes from
Reggie.
Reggie.
Yes!
Reggie has done the business.
Yes!
You hear him shout, I've killed one of them. What have you been up to, James, back there? Doesn't look like you've been hitting very much. Strong Bristolian accent coming out.
Wait, did it die?
They are shooting at some bandits who are attacking them from the side
Ah.
of the woods. Okay, so from there, that is Reginald, and now Cormac, it is your turn again.
Okay. Well,
Watch this nat 20 as he fucking hits it with something.
so we know now that he only takes half damage, that it's like resistant to it.
You're all aware from the attacks that you've used against it that it is taking less of an impact and less cutting and piercing damage
Okay.
from your attacks than you do expect it from how hard you've been hitting it.
Would I be able to use my Sacred Flame again?
Yeah, you can use the cantrip. A cantrip is something that you can use as many times as you want to. It's just whether it's an action or a bonus action, basically.
Okay.
So it's a way of meaning that in this edition, spellcasters always have something that they can do to do damage or to be useful if they run out of spell slots, or if they want to conserve them for something that they consider to be more dangerous.
Yeah, well, because since it takes half damage, but it takes full damage from the Sacred.
It would any potentially magical things that hit it. It will take full damage.
Okay. Let's bring on the Sacred Flame.
Okay, so that's not a spell attack. I need to roll a dexterity saving throw because you're effectively lashing out with some kind of radiant damage, and then the creature has to dodge it.
Don't worry, I've got my shield up as well, ready.
Okay, so with a 4 plus 1 making a 5, it fails its save, so roll a d8. See how much damage you do to it.
We've been fighting this guy for an hour.
Yeah, but we had a fight. Our first fight in Fantasy Age was like 2 hours. Roll d8.
Yeah, this has all been happening. This has gone round 5 or 6 rounds, so this has all happened over the space of roughly a minute. You got 2 that time, mate. How's that feel?
Yeah, bring him on, bitches.
Okay, so crouching behind your shield slightly, you try and focus.
Don't worry, I'm behind it.
And another bizarre golden lightning bolt flashes down from nowhere, slams into this creature that's rocked back slightly, but just these rolls. It's difficult to turn this into narrative because it's like a comedy. No offense. Nimble, from your hiding point in the woods, you can just about make the scarecrow's back out as it's being pushed back against the bole of a tree by both Grimold and Cormac, who are gradually wearing it down.
Okay.
Or what would you like to do?
Is it being, like, taken care of, or is it just like they just knocked it against the tree, or are they keeping it pinned?
Make a perception check.
Let me check my sheet.
It's a +3 because it's wisdom and your proficiency.
Check your sheets. They won't help you now.
7. Jesus Christ. Where are my eyes tonight?
Okay, from where you are, it looks as if they've got it in a fairly compromised position, but then you've also seen it move in fairly unnatural ways, so it's difficult for you to tell exactly just how cornered the creature is.
Where was I compared to the...
So you're from your full movement, just about 25 feet off into the woods, these thick pine trees, and you're sort of just crouched down behind the bole of one of them, almost like back to a tree, up to your ankles in pine needles on the floor. Sly has run over to you as you haven't given him any orders at all this fight, and he's just basically looking at you like, "What the fuck?" in giant weasel.
Don't send him forward, he will die.
I will reply, what the fuck, in giant weasel. No, oh man, am I feeling brave? Risky.
Frisky like a biscuit.
The weasel gives you a look as you say, "What the fuck?" If you want me to get in there and fuck him up.
The answer is yes. Go rip him to pieces.
Okay, so in that case, Sly goes charging off through the woods towards the back of this scarecrow. Just gonna do a quick. How aware of it? Not particularly. Okay, make an attack roll with disadvantage, which in this case the weasel has an attack called a bite attack, as I'm sure you're aware, which is a +5 to hit. So I just want you to be aware at this point, Cormac, when it comes to melee combat, you are less effective than a giant weasel.
Yep. Well,
But the giant weasel can't cast spells. To be
yes,
fair,
exactly, and he doesn't have a shield, and he has not tasted, you know what.
So
Smells
it's
nicer than you human as well.
D what?
D20 +5, and you have advantage, which means you roll twice and pick the higher result.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, 22. I picked that one.
Sly rushes out from the undergrowth and bites down into the back of the scarecrow's neck. So a weasel's bite damage is 1d4 +3 piercing damage. So like a dagger attack, effectively.
And we get 22.
4.
Okay, so you watch as the weasel sort of
7.
its long body carrying it with the momentum as it bites into the back of the scarecrow's neck, and it sort of spins over, and then just kind of lets go and flops gently over Cormac and Grimold, sort of crouching down behind them. And it again, the bite has some impact, but not as much as Sly is expecting. Okay, so.
But I told him to rip him to pieces, not bite him.
Okay, you can also that is Nimble's
He
action.
had one
You
job.
do still get your own
Okay,
if you want to take a
it seems
shot.
pretty crowded, so I'm gonna avoid taking a shot.
Okay. You bear in mind you are aware of the fact that your two other travelling companions, James and Reginald, are under attack
I'll tend
slightly
to them.
further up the path.
I'll tend to them.
You turn to them. Okay, so if you move forwards through the woods, make a perception check.
He tricked you. It's a trap.
Right.
It's a trap.
D20 +3 in that case. Sorry, Nimble.
I'm very bad with these rolls. I'm sorry.
No, it's
20.
fine. You get used to it. Yeah. You see as
Eyes
you
attack.
move your a fair like about 15-20 feet up through the woods, which doesn't slow you down at all. You find it more comfortable, in fact, walking through this kind of terrain than you do out in the open for the most part. You look around and you spot just a flash of red in the undergrowth off in the distance, and there's a bleeding slightly one of these blood-eye bandits sweating profusely with his back to one of these trees that has a number of crossbow bolts sticking out of the other side as he is readying his crossbow.
I fire at him.
Okay, make an attack roll.
That's D20 +5, right?
Yeah, +5 for your longbow attack.
23.
That hits. Roll a d8 +3. So, you sight, breathe out as you fire. The longbow arrow flashes through the air. The bandit doesn't even notice as it slams into the side of his neck. There's just a distant sort of cracking sound as it breaks his spine, and the bandit collapses in a boneless heap on the ground.
Got him!
Nice.
Alright.
Do you shout that out?
No. She's very quiet when she.
Guerrilla tactics. Got the motherfucker.
Did you see that? No.
Did you fucking see that? What up?
She tried to.
Okay, Grimold, it is your turn again. You and Cormac effectively have this construct pinned to a tree bole at this point, as it's backing up away from you, trying to get enough space that it can make an attack itself.
I'm gonna try and hit it with a hammer again. I'm a one-trick pony, really.
At this point, yes, but
Yes.
it changes as you level up. D20 plus 5 in that case.
Thank you. 11.
11. Okay, so halved again. You slam your hammer into it. You feel something else inside the creature break. In fact, give me just a general. Give me an intelligence check.
Oh,
D20 minus 1.
He's not a very intelligent dwarf, is he?
he's not at all, no. 2.
It definitely feels
That's
like
proven.
it looks like a sack of cloth to you, but something definitely just broke inside it. But the lights in the eyes of the scarecrow go out for a second, and then they light back up again, but much more dimly than before, and its movements are much more slow. But it's still attempting to attack you, but it's much slower now at this point, which brings us to Cormac.
I just say to the human, hey, there's something in there, in the sack. And I just give him a smile.
Fucking weird.
Creepy smile.
Cormac doesn't reply. Instead, he tries to pierce the whatever is in him. Try to find it, but so slash at him.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Which is D20 plus 4, right?
4, yes.
Yeah, just trying to learn.
Sorry.
Cormac is back in black!
You hit, so roll a D8 plus 2. Okay, so you swing your sword, you cut the cloth open, and as you'd expect from something that's made purely of straw and cloth, you slice it open. The red lights that were dimly glowing go out completely, and it collapses on the path, completely indistinguishable at this point from just a sack of cloth with straw in it.
So I got it.
You got it.
Try.
So
Can I just
that-
pat him on the back?
gently pat him on the back. That is the end of combat
done.
in that case.
Wait, the bandits, are they done? Did Nimble...
You make a perception check.
Okay. Which is roll D20 plus 4, right?
Are you proficient in perception?
Yep.
Okay, your wisdom modifier is plus 3, so it's a plus 5 for you to make a perception.
Oh, yeah.
It's what you're good at. You're perceptive.
Yeah.
What did you roll, my friend?
18.
Okay, yeah, you take a look around, and it looks. You immediately take in the situation. The two wagons that have rolled off have stopped. You can see James and Reginald are sort of standing up in their seats and just taking a look into the woods, and it looks at them as if they're just starting to sort of come down, and then they feel like they might not be under attack anymore.
Where's Nimble?
You cannot see her at this point.
Child.
Hey, where's that dwarf gone again? No, not the dwarf, the gnome. They all look the same to me.
I've got such low intelligence, I can't actually discern myself from someone else.
So,
Yeah, human. She could just be a child dwarf. I
She's
don't know.
probably crawling around in the bush somewhere, you know.
Right. Well, you know, she's got that dog. The dog will look after her.
It's a weasel, man.
No, it's called Weasel, you idiot. And then I just walk off towards the wagon.
Oh, you daft, unlucky poor.
I'm just carrying on walking. I'm not listening to
Okay,
him.
so you move off towards the wagon. Cormac, what do you choose to do?
Well, everyone gathered around, or just
At this point, Nimble is nowhere to be seen, as we
Mhm.
haven't got to it yet. The wagons have stopped. They're resting the horses, which got a little bit lathered from this short but
Do the horses look
energy-consuming
okay?
chase.
No,
Sorry?
no, the horses are okay. No, they aren't startled or something like that.
They seem fairly startled at this point, but they are starting to calm down, and it does look as if they are at least partially used to rough and tumble life out in
Scarecrows.
this sort of frontier place.
Mm.
Oh.
Well, in that case, he would do nothing except look towards the scarecrow to see if it's moving again.
Okay, you take a brief glance at it, take your sword, poke around in the sackcloth. And you do notice something interesting in there. You've seen them enough times in bar brawls and in various situations in your old life. The sackcloth is partially filled with human teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a number of... kind of hard to tell. In fact, make a medicine check quickly for me.
Yeah.
Just
Can I also?
intelligence- Are you
Okay.
proficient in medicine?
Nope. Investigation.
Investigation, okay.
No, wait. I am proficient in medicine. Never mind.
So what's your intelligence modifier? Or is it wisdom?
Wisdom +3. Wisdom 16 +3.
So in that case, it's going to be a +5 if you roll on the medicine. check.
D20 +5, right?
Yes, please.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
What?
yeah. You take a brief glance at them, and it takes a second for you to click it. They are desiccated human eyeballs, or
Ooh.
humanoid eyeballs, at least.
Can I do some kind of lore check to see if what kind of, or arcana check to see what kind of spell this is, or what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, what would that be?
In that case, it's your Arcana proficiency if you have one, and your intelligence modifier. So I suspect it's just a D20 +1 for you.
Exactly.
You're not dumb, but you're not bright either. Okay. The spell is beyond you. It's not the kind of magic that you are familiar with. Not what you were taught in the time that you
I don't play around with eyeballs.
recently. Yeah. This is the kind of magic that is explicitly forbidden. It's not just the binding of a golem, it's also the binding of an unwilling life, potentially looking at the number of eyeballs and teeth in this bag. A good number of intelligent creatures went into the creating of this particular construct.
Is there anything I can cleanse in it, or to do something, some kind of...
The thought quickly pops into your head that it probably would be best to burn this.
Okay, then I want to use my sacred flame to burn it.
Okay, so you focus in a slightly different way. You call the lightning down, but it's more controlled. It's not such a sort of spur of the moment attack. It's more communing to cleanse. And you feel for a second, even with this vicious 3-day hangover that you've been dealing with, your head clears for a moment. You feel at ease, and there's the sound draws the attention of Reginald and... Well, no, James has stayed with the wagons. Reginald has started to wander over, and there is just almost like a pillar of lightning just flashes down onto this disgusting-looking bundle of rags. You have your eyes closed and you don't see it. You can just sort of see the image of the light through your eyelids. When you open them, the pillar of light has disappeared, and there are just a few floating little bits of ash in the air. And you feel like you've been standing a little too close to a fire for some time. Just a little bit of a flushed heat in your face, even from your, wearing heavy armor on a hot day. It's just a little more intense than that.
Yeah. Okay, good. Then I'm satisfied.
Okay. And now we come to Nimble, hanging out in the woods
I'm going to the toilet real quick.
with your pet weasel.
No, let's keep up here by the...
Miss you guys already.
Oh, thank God he's gone. Now we can kill him.
Scarecrow.
Kill him.
Sly.
Sorry?
Lesson Sly with the scarecrow.
Slight, after biting it,
and after seeing that the situation was dealt with, immediately just ran back into the woods to find
Alright.
you.
And there are no bandits left, correct?
Make a perception check. D20 plus 3. Get used to rolling these.
22.
And so you take a look around. You sniff at the air. You cock your ear. Seems at the moment doesn't smell like anything other than the decaying bandits nearby and the bizarre smell of the burning scarecrow remains.
Yeah, granted that there would be no enemies nearby, she'd sort of like rush towards where the lightning struck. Stupid Hard Ditty.
You saw it through the thick foliage of the trees, just a flash of lightning coming down, something that you haven't seen before. And as you exit the woods, which you're still a distance into, you can just see Cormac walking gradually back towards Reginald, who's standing there with his mouth hanging open.
Okay.
Like proper stare on his face. Grimald, your choice whether you turned around to witness this or not when you started hearing strange noises.
No, I just carried on walking past Reggie. Not a clue.
Cool guys, don't
No
look at
idea.
explosions.
You've
So
got a
yeah,
stupid guess.
you just keep walking on.
Hey, Jimmy, pal, you alright?
Jimmy. That's his name.
I am fine.
Oh, good.
Once again, the wagons and their cargo, Reginald and I are safe thanks to you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. That's what you're paying me for. I smile at him.
He
I feel like
smiles
you
back
have
at
to
you
be
in a
creepy smile.
patronising manner. Just
I don't say that.
No, you don't.
I just say a nice man called Jimmy.
I mean you.
Have you seen the gnome? Where's the gnome?
Oh, she's literally
She's just
down
behind
there.
you,
Yeah.
actually.
Alright,
Coming out with that weasel of hers, which actually I probably need to have a word with her about that. Excuse me, Nimble.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know, I wasn't intending to sell your new friend. The intention was to take it up north and release it somewhere where it wouldn't go through any of the inn's wine cellars in town anymore and eat all of their supplies. I don't have the same attachment with nature that you do, but I do appreciate it, and I thought this adorable creature deserved to live. Which it wouldn't have if we'd have left it in town.
I completely agree with you.
Okay, I'm glad that we cleared that up. I really don't want you angry with me.
It better not.
Okay, so shall we move on?
Sounds fair to me.
Yeah.
So, order of movement. Who wants to go where?
Back into where he once were.
Same wagon.
Yeah, I like that wagon. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Sorry.
Can I go up front this time? What the human
Yeah, sure. You can climb into the wagon up front, Nimble and Sly.
Sly can go next to, was it Reginald?
The one that you were just talking to is James. Reginald is the one that talks like this, mate. He got a bit of a colloquial accent.
But wasn't I in the thing with,
Reginald is in the wagon up front. Now has your friendly dwarf in it. The
Alright.
wagon in the back has Cormac in it.
Is he in the back or the front?
Okay, I don't know actually. Where are you guys in these wagons?
Cormac is in the back because
Okay.
it's cool.
Well then. I guess I'd have to take the front then.
Okay, so you sit up front with James in this wagon. You start rolling slowly off. Okay, so at this point, some time
by the way,
passes.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
How am I after the attack that I got? Like, how am
Okay,
I coping?
So it scraped across you. It missed most of your armor, but it's put a gash into your sleeve, which has now stopped bleeding.
Alright.
The wound
That's then.
seems relatively clean, but this is what I was going to bring up now. There's a thing called short rests in Dungeons and Dragons where you can roll one of your hit dice, and each of you only has one hit dice to use per day at the moment because you're level 1. And you add your Constitution modifier, so if any of you want to try and get some hit points back without using any spell slots, you can do that now if you like.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Do we
it.
get any disadvantages for doing that? No.
Effectively, it means if you need to take another short rest before the end of the day, and I'm not going to try and kick the shit out of you at the moment, but I don't want to spoil the story, so don't worry too much about that. But this is basically to get you used to doing this kind of thing, and potentially asking me if you want to do it.
Roll the.
So it's your hit dice, which in your case is a D8, and for Grimold and Nimble is a D10, and you add your Constitution modifier.
Huh?
So your Constitution modifier, Nimble, is a +3, isn't it?
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, so you get 13 hit points back, Grimold. The hardy dwarf just sort of pats himself down a little bit, binds his wounds, and it's just like, yeah, that was
So
alright.
does that? I was at 9, so do I go up to maximum of 13 now?
You go up to your maximum hit points.
Wait, he rolled 1d10.
Yeah, 'cause he has a D10 for his hit dice as he's a fighter.
Alright, so what
you
do
have
I
a
get?
D8 because you're a cleric. So you have a D8, and what's your... Oh, sorry, Nimble Constitution modifier is +2, so you roll a D10 +2.
Where did
Okay.
I find that? I just want to find that on my.
It's on your character sheet, so you know you've got the ability scores down the left-hand side.
So I should get a
So-
+2 as well.
14 Constitution, you get a +2. Okay, so your strength is 8, which means you have a -1. Dexterity is 16, which means +3. And
Oh, I got it.
Constitution-
Sorry, I thought it was something completely different. We just haven't used it before.
Yes, yeah, this is something that you haven't done before. So it's a short rest. So basically, you take about an hour, but you're still traveling at this point. You rest up, you take a breather, and you bind your wounds. So yeah, there you regain 10 hit points.
How much did I
Tweedman, you regain 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cormac, you get 5 back.
That's more than
So,
I
yeah.
can have.
Oh yeah.
So you can only ever restore up to your maximum hit
Okay,
points.
12 then.
Would have been cool otherwise. Stacking up hit points.
I rested so well, I've got an absorb shield. Sorry. Okay, so you continue to move north for some time. There's no sort of sound of pursuit. You start to get the feeling that whoever sent this creature to attack you probably assumed that it and the couple of bandits it sent to mine the construct. Probably he thought whatever sent this thought that it would do the job effectively. Oh, get the other stream. Okay. After, let me find my maps actually.
That's the other map. Did you want that one?
Okay, so if you got the Northern Bastion map, that's the one that you want to have up. The one that's got
Yeah.
like effectively zoomed in.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're moving up just out of the Halfwood now, and it's approaching midday at this point as you've travelled on, as you've camped just before the entrance to the Halfwood, and you move again over some more rolling hills, same sort of beautiful terrain that you've seen before. The mountains looming larger in the distance to the north, and it isn't long before you start moving downhill again. There are a few burnt-out wagons that you can see on either side of the road as you start winding your way between the hills. And then you sight a windmill on a hill in the distance, and you see, all of you, those of you who are in the wagon with James, you see him relax visibly. And no, sorry, there's one of you in the wagon with James, isn't there? And 2 of you are in the wagon with Reginald.
Yeah.
So both of them visibly relax as you get closer to the village of Windrush. Now I need to add a file to the conversation, so I'm probably going to get really, really robotic for a bit. Bear with me.
Can I just be talking to Reggie the whole journey?
Well, the problem is I'd have to
Just be
respond.
really obnoxious.
You've both been just chatting away. You've learnt each other's life story. You've learnt that he's got a sister. You quickly realise that he's about on the same mental level as you are.
Yeah. Is she nice looking? This sister of yours?
Oh, she look. Hang on. How do I activate Bristolian? Don't tell me. Just talk normally because I'll come to
Alright, my
Halifax
lover.
and-
Just talk normal.
You're right, my lover. Yeah, she looks a lot like me, mate. Yeah. Not
Ew.
much of a looker, really. I'm afraid.
Alright,
I'll take her.
that's fine. No, I won't write her a letter or anything. That's fine.
She looks her men quite tall, to be honest, and as
I mean-
muscular and daunting as you are, my friend, I think she'd prefer it if you were perhaps a little bit on the taller side. Sorry to say.
I am tall. I'm pretty tall for a dwarf.
That'll be the problem there, mate. You're tall for a dwarf.
Yeah, but that's discrimination. I'm 4'6". That's a tall dwarf. That.
What does discrimination mean?
I don't know.
Did you read that in a book somewhere?
Oh, I don't read, mate. No.
Oh, no,
Somebody
well, I
said
don't.
it once, and I just thought it sounded good. So, it's really hard to do this accent when you're doing your accent, by the way.
Yeah, it's all sort of blending into each other.
I
don't
kind of want to do yours, so why don't we stop talking? Is that a windmill?
they? Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. We've arrived at Windrush. There's that's one of the windmills there. It's a fairly small village, but yeah, we've gotten in. We've got well, I say they've gotten in. They've got some a shop or two. They've got a very interesting temple there. Might want to have a word with the priest. We've got a mine. We've got a blacksmith.
You got
Got
a
some
mine?
farms. Yeah, got a mine.
What sort of mine you got?
Oh, it's an iron mine.
Iron. All right, that sounds cool.
Am I in the same wagon as the two guys talking?
No. you're with
You
No.
chose to get in the back one, which has James driving and Tilly and Sly sitting on the adorably on the seat next to him as he's shuffled over just a little bit, and they're just sitting side by side. With
Add him a little.
yeah, I was gonna say that Nimble has her arm wrapped as far around a Sly's shoulder as she can get, and this is, again, just to give you a bit of a frame of perspective and something that you can put up in chat if you want, a map of Windrush.
Give it to me, baby.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're approaching it from the southeast.
Could you wait with that so we can put up the map first?
Oh,
Hey, Reggie, can I ask you a question?
yeah, what's up, mate?
Jimmy, what is up his arse? Because he's a right miserable bastard.
He really doesn't like being called Jimmy, mate. His name is James. His dad was a bit of a big deal around here.
Funny if
And
he
I think he's always suffered under that a little bit, to be honest.
His dad.
Yeah,
Do you reckon-
his old man, yeah.
Do you reckon he didn't call him Jimmy, so he's upset? Or he does call him Jimmy, maybe, I don't know.
The map is up. Thank you very much.
Oak Ridge died when he was only a babber, so I think that might be part of the issue there. But he's got a lot going on, that chap. A lot of stuff that you won't even talk to me about.
Alright, I'd probably stay out of that, to be honest with you. I'm just here for the coin, but
Sensible.
he's a bit of a moody git, that's all.
What about your Cormac? Eh? He seems like a.
Is that his name? He hasn't even told me his name yet, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure he's introduced himself to you, but he's. Why has he got such a face like a smacked arse all the time?
Look, I found him. He was outside a tavern, covered in sick, stood next to a gnome. And then this dog came along and knocked me over. I don't know what was happening at the time. Something must have happened because some magic or something. But he's a miserable git. But you know, coin's coin. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm here for.
Right. Oh, all right then. I suppose that makes sense. And you. It's fucking accents, Jesus. Okay, so you roll into town, pulled by the horses, which have sort of. You stop to drink several times along the way from several of the streams that flow through this area, and as you move in, there is a shout from the watchtower that you can see. You're right. Who goes there?
Reggie, I think you should cover this because I don't miss
I'm
out.
we're in the back carriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good part about being in the back.
I'm making you roleplay with yourself.
I don't want to be in the back anymore.
You sure about that, mate? I don't really like any of the guards in this village. All right.
I can't shout in my
Hello,
accent.
we're the provisioners. We've come through from Pegler's Stoop for you. We've just got a couple of wagon loads of food supplies. If you're interested, you want to let us into the town. How'd you get through the blockade?
We've been
just
killing bandits.
Reginald just points at you. That was straight Bristolian you just did there.
It
mate.
was Scottish. Trust me.
It was not. It was Bristolian.
Gavin.
Okay, so you stop just at this watchtower, and a number of scruffily dressed villagers come out. Some climbing down from the watchtower. They've got very simple leather armor on, with these very utilitarian and fairly poorly made from your perspective looking crossbows on their back, and some human short swords, which from your point of view, you've no idea why humans seem so keen on fighting with giant cutlery. It just doesn't make any sense to you. Why don't they use a proper weapon like a hammer or an axe?
I don't get it.
These thoughts idly skim through your brain. You all dismount, and you are paid, each of you, 15 gold for your services, including you, Nimble, from the purse of James Atherton. It says, we're going to be taking these wagons to the Tithe Centre. Just so you know, there's one inn in the town, well, 2 inns rather, although one of them's called the Dusty Boot, and the other one is called the Wagon Wheel Inn, if you're looking for somewhere to stay. Otherwise, I will not be moving back to Pegler's Stoop, but you are more than welcome to see if there is any work for you in the village. With the issues they're having at the moment, it might be worth speaking to Adriana, the village elder.
Alright. Where would you find her?
She's in, and he points past one building that you can see just towards your left-hand side at this point, towards the village hall, which is pretty much it's one of the largest buildings in the village. All of these buildings being built almost unanimously out of pine logs, with simple thatched roofs. Points towards the largest building in the village, which just looks like a larger one of these houses. That's the village hall right there. She should be in there at the moment.
Alright. I think I'll go there if anyone wants to join me. And I'll look at this.
I would like to mention, we did stop along the way, right? A bit. For water and stuff.
Yes.
So, Cormac has gone from like a raisin to a somewhat more respectable man. He's been shaving... Yeah, a raisin. From a raisin to a more respectable man. He looks more healthy, and he has been taking care of his beard. He's used to soap along the way, so he no longer looks like a washed-up bum, basically. And also, after all of this traveling, his voice has slightly changed, being more normal rather than creepy, so to speak. But so he would answer in his more normal voice. Okay, so where are we going?
So, from your perspective, just give a brief description of this. It's quite a transformation for you, Nimble. Like these humans seem fairly dirty creatures from your experience, specifically this one.
Right.
But he definitely looks a lot better. He seems there's not quite a charm to him, but he seems definitely more reasonable, and it's even simpler from your perspective, Grimold. He looks like he's gone from being a cold, shriveled up nutsack to a slightly warmer one.
I wanted to use that word.
We dwarves call it a ball bag.
Ball bag.
A ball bag, not ball. A ball
bag.
A ball bag.
A ball bag.
You got it.
Sorry. Okay, stop saying the word ball bag over and
So
over.
where are we going?
You started it. Well, I was going to go to the hall and talk to the elder and see if there's any work, because we're not going anywhere. Jimmy clearly doesn't need us.
There is one other thing I was going to mention from that experience and your encounter. Just do it like this for now, whilst it's smaller amounts of experience. You got another 70 experience each.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so that should put you roughly halfway to...
Did you say 70?
70. That should put you roughly halfway to level 2, correct?
Yep.
Cool.
How do you know what things...
I don't know, I just said yes.
Come on, guys. If you don't know, I'm not going to punish you for not knowing.
How does Ding?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, okay, so let me get it up in the book.
Did I count right if I have 135? No.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't maths
Okay,
it.
so second level is 300 experience points.
I'm not even halfway!
This is how
Close enough.
when you're leveling up. Again, the more difficult fights you're in, the more you level up. But at this point, you've got less things to counter them. So
Have you seen my shots? My precise shots.
Chill.
I'm the one that's been describing them. So
Yeah.
yes,
should know.
I've seen your precise shots.
Yeah, but have you seen them? You want to
But have you,
describe them.
have you seen them? Next time she's gonna be like, witness me!
Witness this.
Witness me!
Okay, so... Fuck's sake.
So what did you say the name of this village elder was again? Sorry, I didn't quite catch you, Jimmy.
Adriana.
Adriana.
Mm.
All right, okay. That's champion. I'm gonna go there now. It's been nice working with you, Jimmy. And I just offer my hand out to him.
You know what, dwarf?
Hey.
I liked you better.
By the way.
I liked you better when we weren't sharing the same wagon or standing close to each other.
Oh, that's fine. But you know, are you not coming then?
Of course I'm coming.
All right.
Well, then let's get to it.
No, are you coming?
All this time I've still got my hand like out to Jimmy, just
Nimble
To
with the
Jimmy,
link
what?
between-
He's already paid you, mate.
Yeah,
Cor-
but
Cormac
no,
tries to
I'm-
push the hand down.
I wanna
Cormac wants to
shake his
push the hand
Oh,
down.
sorry.
Cormac wants to push the hand
Sorry,
down.
I'm so sorry. I didn't notice. I was just observing the transformation in our strange lightning summoning friend here.
He looks
He
different.
reaches
What do you
over
mean by
and
lightning?
he grabs your hand in a very, very firm grasp. Grimold.
Grasp.
Not
Jimmy's
not
a
at the
bit-
hand, back grabbing your wrist in a warrior's grip.
All right. I just look at
Nimble
him
would
impressed.
just look at you, me. James, whatever.
Don't.
And then I kind of wave, Reggie, I'll catch you on the flip side, and then just walk off.
So, James says, by the way, after a short time I will be moving back to Apelop Supplies, the shop I run in the village. So if you want to, you can come and speak to me there, or if you want to buy any more supplies, then I am open. And just to give you guys a rundown, because this is your first time in a village in Dungeons and Dragons. So,
Technically, second time.
sorry, your first time in one that you can actually properly explore and wander around, because it's a little less daunting than the full town. So you have the village hall. You have a place called Apelop Supplies. The Dusty Boot is an inn for workmen and women, frequented by miners. You have the wagon wheel itself, which, after a brief, we'll get to that in a second. Then there's Windrush Temple, there's a smithy, and there's a place called Fireheart Costa, which is a name that you recognise, Cormac, from your travels through Inglenook. It's a series of shops that operates in various different villages and towns throughout this region,
Is there a
run
flush?
by a fairly wealthy family that simply goes by Fireheart.
Do I have a
heard
personal
all of this.
relationship to these people, or do I just know about them?
You know about them because you've seen the image of their shop before. It's quite a distinctive image of a fire burning on a heater shield that hangs out of each of their shops on the similar looking sign.
Till you should ask him.
You can ask that kind of
Asked
thing
him twice.
in. Oh, sorry. It's just I was still explaining that. I didn't catch what you said. You weren't very
Sorry.
quiet. Make well from what you've been told, you would assume that you can potentially get those kinds of supplies at either the Fireheart Costa, which is a supply shop that sells kind of like adventuring equipment and the odd bit of armor and weaponry, or it might even potentially come from James Aferton at Apelop Supplies, which deals more in food and perishables, but he might have something like that there as well.
Got it.
Okay. So you're all moving to the town hall, or the village hall rather?
Yeah.
I'd heard none of that because I'd already walked off, so I know
Okay.
nothing of this village.
So it doesn't take very much effort to catch up with the dwarf as he sort of stomps off through. Do you go directly
Yeah.
there, or do you follow the path?
Cormac would try to get his attention and... Grimold!
I'd be walking directly there.
Alan, Steve!
Exactly. Stop it, Tilly. Focus.
Sorry.
No, I'd turn around when he... What?
Where are you going?
I'm going to the village hall. Adriana, that's her name. I'm going to see her.
Okay,
Some work.
we should probably check out Fireheart Coster first, if I may
Where?
recommend. Fireheart. Oh, it's up. Should be up to the right of here. We should just follow the road.
All right, okay.
Nimble
And
will
what-
sort of just follow without arguing.
So
Hey,
you
child!
follow along.
Child,
The
follows.
wagons have already moved on from this point.
Yeah.
And you move up on the right hand side. There's quite a number at this point. You've gathered a bit of a crowd. The villagers haven't seen anyone that looks like you before, Nimble, and it's making you slightly uneasy, the amount of people
Yeah,
that
I
are
was gonna say that.
staring. There's a few kids that see you, and they're absolutely astounded to see someone carrying the weaponry that you're carrying, who is the same height as them. They also they kind of look as if they want to come and start a conversation with you, but then they take a look at Grimold and at Cormac with his.
Click.
He did the best he could at the job at shaving, but with no real mirror. He's still got stubble in places on his face.
Can
There's
I
still
just be
bags
waving
under
at
his
people?
eyes to somewhat. And whilst he's tied his hair back so it doesn't look quite so wild, he still looks like an extremely dodgy character with one leg. So you move up through the village with a few people sort of nodding at you. You get a few sort of muttered thank you for getting those supplies through from people.
I
Move
just
up past the
nod and
Type Centre,
acknowledge
which-
everyone that I see.
So, there's a Tithe Centre on your left-hand side, which is a large pillared building with huge tree trunks making up the main construction of it. The two wagons have been pulled under the roof and have started to be unloaded by fairly desperate-looking people. As you look around, you can see that the children in this place are still relatively well-fed, but there are early signs of starvation amongst some of the adults. And you move up, and again, a very, very large, open-fronted to the point where it has a walkway along the front, and then a door and two windows either side, and the signs hanging out the front that says Fire Costa.
Mm. Well, in that case, Cormac would walk up and open the door and hold it open for his friends to enter.
Friends? We're friends now.
Yeah, well, okay, companions. He did not say it, so don't spray it.
I
think
walk in.
if you've nearly, you flail away at a scarecrow until it dies in the woods, that's probably going to form some kind of bond between
Yeah,
you.
he has that, that scarecrow kind of bond. The scarecrow bond? The bond? Bond.
The bone.
James Bond.
He gets boned by
Yeah,
scarecrows.
yeah, I don't know what happened.
I walk into the shop and just
Okay, so there's a
pat
softly
Cormac on
moving,
the arm.
and you can see there's a very, very young looking man, probably late teens, who's just sort of leaning on the counter, and he's clearly asleep as you
Oh.
enter.
Nice. I like the service they have here.
Cormac would slam his fist into the counter.
Hello? Who are you?
Good day, sir.
Good day.
Night.
That's not all he's gonna say.
I look up at Cormac and then just look at Nimble and be like,
Again, who are you?
It does not matter. I want to browse your inventory, sir.
and I just whisper to the guy, he's called Cormac.
And you dwarf? What's your name?
We want to browse the inventory, sir.
Would I be visible over the counter?
I'm Grimold. Pleased to meet you. What's
Norin.
your name?
Norin, it's a pleasure.
Norin.
You're not amongst city folk here, so we have a slightly slow way of doing business.
We want to browse your inventory, please.
Okay, so
I mean, I'd
What?
answer him. He gets a bit. He's not had a drink for a while, so he's a bit. Just tell him what you've got.
okay, so again, it's the same very basic sort of supplies that you can get here, and it's the screen that you want from that is the equipment list.
What other map, Tilly? We have this is the Windrush map.
Do you know how long ago I wrote that?
Oh, never mind. I don't know. I just heard someone typing. Oh, it's the Fletcher in town. Never mind.
That was a while ago as well.
Yeah, he just sent the shopping list.
So
Oh,
from your
all
point-
right.
From your point of view, Nimble,
Yeah.
the one that would interest you in here is ammunition. It's 1 gold piece for 20 arrows.
How many arrows can I hold? Because I have 17 right now.
Apparently it's 20 to a quiver.
Mhm.
So you would be able to buy
Depends. I suppose you could get some more in your backpack potentially, and then you can just
Yeah.
replenish them from there when you need them,
That'd be good.
or you can just bind them to the side or something. Okay, so in that case, you hand over a gold piece, but
Hey.
some mark that off your
So I guess I'm
character
visible
sheet.
over the counter.
Sorry,
Am I visible over the counter, or do we?
you're visible over the counter. He's
leaning.
leaning on the counter, and he at this point he actually moves down the counter to a bit that you'd only just noticed on the end, where there is a lower counter that you can clearly see over.
Nice.
And he for you, man, and just pulls out this bundle of arrows. They're quite well made. They're not quite as neat as the ones that you've made yourself, but they definitely they'll do the job.
Alright, I'd hand him the 1 gold, I guess it is.
So mark that off your sheet and add the 20 arrows.
Got it.
Can I walk up to that counter as well, now that I see it? Just so that I feel a little bit taller. So I'm guessing I'm probably like... No,
Oh, it's easily leanable for you.
Alright.
This one.
This new one. Right. I'm gonna put an elbow on there and like... Hey, what? No, Norin?
Yes.
Hey, yeah, Norin. I remembered. Have you got any fire?
What the fuck?
Let's go fire on the store.
Fire. We have torches.
No, I've
Oil-
got torches.
Oil flasks.
Oil? Well, what happened was we came into town. Just before we came into town, there was this big scarecrow, but it wasn't like a normal scarecrow. It was alive and it was killing stuff. And these guys started using fire, and it was amazing. And I hit it and it didn't even do anything. So I want some fire. Can you do that for me?
The description of the scarecrow, his face goes completely white, and he just leans back and just stops talking as his mouth
don't-
hangs open slightly.
Don't worry, pal. It's dead now. We fired it.
Maybe I should go for the shovel so that I can bury this dwarf afterwards.
I don't need burying. I'm alive. He's an idiot. Don't listen to him. Have you got any fire?
Not for long. He mutters.
How about an oil flask or torches,
Oil.
as I said, or a lantern, possibly?
Lantern. Do you reckon if I threw the lantern, it'd explode? It's got a big smile on my face. It's like,
The lantern will be fine, sir.
It depends. Two types of lantern. Do you want a bullseye lantern or a hooded lantern?
Hooded.
I don't know what that means.
Hooded.
Bullseye lantern in this case is the kind of one that it has it's a pinprick of light directly out from it, whereas the hooded sheds light in all directions.
Hooded.
So the bullseye one could also function as a hooded lantern. It just has a mechanism on it that makes it more expensive.
That's so cool.
I'll take the bullseye lantern, please. How much is that?
That's a 10 gold piece.
10 gold. I don't want that. Not interested in that.
Don't
That's
worry, I'll pay
expensive.
for it.
Hey, we got 15 gold earlier, right?
Cormac
I
tries to
don't
pay
care,
for
I'm
it.
saving my gold.
15 each, 1-5.
Cormac wants to buy it.
15 each.
Buy.
Here you go. His hand's visibly shaking as he hands the lantern over, and it's just rattling around. Clank, 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 clank,
Yeah,
clank,
I've
clank,
discarded
as
the
he hands it
soap,
over
by
to
the way.
You what, sorry?
Since if he's used the soap, I've crossed it off the list, just so you know.
you. Okay, sure. You use an entire bar of soap,
Yes, just trust
He
me.
needed it.
and you got 2/3 of the filth off.
Yeah. Okay, so what was it called? What lantern did I just buy?
A bullseye lantern.
Oh right, yeah, of course. I have one of those in real life.
Oh, cool.
Can I get a few flasks of oil then? Just how much are they? Are they cheaper?
Yeah. A flask of oils, one silver piece.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'll take 4 of them if that's alright.
How much did we get in the first day? How much gold did we start with?
Start with a certain amount of gold depending on your background.
Oh, 10 gold points. Okay, so I got 15, so which means I have 15 left. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll take 4 if that's alright.
Silver, please.
Yeah, I'll pass him 4 silver.
Thank you. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Let me check.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking through.
No, that's cool. You guys carry on looking for that. Must say it is nice to have visitors. Most people go to Apolops.
Is that a better store?
No. I think people are just just don't like talking to people because I might stutter.
Oh, is that what that is?
Well, it's very charming. So where can I find the
He
nearest?
smiles for the first time since you walked in.
Aww.
Yeah, look, he's smiling.
I'd like to know where I can buy, some ale.
Two inns in town. There's one just across the way. A bit of a rough place called the Dusty Boot, and then there's Bear with me whilst I just dig up my notes. I've forgotten his name temporarily.
The Dusty Boot.
There's the Wilbur's place, the wagon wheel. He's a bit of a blowhard, but he's a good man.
A what?
A blowhard.
All right, okay. Have you got any paper or rope or what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get the flask of oil and I'm gonna stick something in it and I'm gonna set it on fire.
I don't think it cares what you do with the oil, man. You could just
No, but I'm trying to explain to him what I'm gonna do so he can tell
stop
me what
using
I'm to buy.
that brain of yours and start using your brawn instead, please.
No, I'm
I
getting
beg
fire.
you.
All right, getting fire.
I'm getting fired.
Have you got anything? I'm just ignoring him by now. I'm not interested.
Okay, so a sheet of paper is 2 silver pieces. Parchment is 1 silver piece. He wouldn't have an awful lot of paper. Bear in mind, this is sort of pre-manufacturing society, so they don't have a huge number of those
What
kind
about,
of bits.
what about some rope that I could maybe? You got any rope?
Not sure I have any rope that would burn very well.
I mean, I can soak it in oil. Don't you worry about
I
that.
think if you threw the lantern or the oil flask so hard it broke, you could light it that way. Throw a
See,
torch at it.
This lad's gonna be a warrior. I can tell now. He's gonna be a good guy. You get yourself out of this shop and you get yourself fighting an adventurers. That's what you need to do.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh god. I'm too busy role playing to remember that I've got to actually type rolling stuff. D20 persuasion.
Indeed. You can't.
So it's just a
Done this
flat
earlier,
D20.
so-
Right, 12.
What was the roll?
12.
Yeah, but what was he rolling for?
Just a persuasion check to
Persuasion.
encourage this kid to become an adventurer.
I'm gonna kill this guy out. Please no.
If I will join you guys. I'm
How
dead.
did he look? Did he look malnourished?
He's a very tall, thin, gangly boy to you. His sort of elbows seem to sort of hang off effectively. So skinny. Dark hair that's just sort of cut across at the fringe, sticking up in places at the back. Oop, just dropped my pen.
Okay.
Let me just note this down.
Great, we're gonna find them at the end, the boss, all leveled
It's
up.
gonna be ripped to shreds in here.
Yeah, ripped. What's up?
It's gonna be just fucking jacked out, motherfucker.
How you doing, guys?
Come to help you fight Google Hangouts. Okay, so anything else that you guys want to buy?
No, that's good.
No.
Just noticed on the sheet it costs a gold piece to buy a goat.
A goat?
I don't want to know.
I don't-
Seems
But I
abusable.
don't understand this currency.
Can I
Okay,
ride a
so-
goat?
Oh, you don't understand
10
gold?
copper pieces to a silver piece.
No, so it's like, well, but like instead of 100, it's 10.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so it's like 1,000 copper pieces for a platinum piece.
But like,
So-
20 arrows cost 1 gold, and then a spyglass costs 1,000 gold.
It's in this, out of character, it's the amount of effort that would go into making something like a spyglass when they didn't have machinery. Because you imagine what making a lens would have been like if you did it with a chisel and sandpaper.
Do you even get any awesome advantages with it?
You'd be able to use it to see a fair distance, but there are spells that have the same effect. A lot of this is flavor stuff, and also a good number of the stuff that's in the inventory here.
I don't like that flavor.
If say if you were going to ask to buy it, it's very unlikely that in a shop like this he'd have a spyglass for sale.
Mm.
But
But
this
it
is just
says on the list.
the kind of thing that you can look around and to give you ideas about the kind of thing that you might want to ask for. Because if you can think of something that you might want to buy that isn't on this list, you can ask. You
Oh.
know? It's just to give you like a long list of things that you could possibly think of.
So it's
that-
basically the list is there to inspire us, eh?
Yes, in a sense, and then I can just improvise something if you wanted to buy something else. But it also does give you like a very good idea of things that you might be interested in. And if you look at a list like this, you can start thinking, ooh, maybe I could use that way. Because if you have any questions about things that you want to try and pull off, just ask me. I'm not going to ever say no. Just that some very, very silly things would have a very, very...
So you will never say
Hi.
no.
I'm not saying I'll never say no, but I'm
Damn
saying
it.
you've got a very low chance of success
Okay.
in
I like
some
something that's
circumstances.
opposite, but I can't afford it. Feels bad, man.
What do you want to?
Sorry?
I can't afford it, so it doesn't matter.
You can try to haggle it.
I'm not gonna steal anything.
No, not haggle, not steal. Haggle is, bargain.
I'm just a poor child. No.
You hear as the door opens behind you and there's a ding and a very, very creepy looking child leans in and just says, "I'm just a poor child," and then just creeps back out again. And you're all left wondering, what the fuck was that?
I'm actually on the floor right now. Looking for
That
it.
was... Okay, so are you guys done shopping in this particular establishment?
I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, where would you like to go next?
So many
Are we
options.
going to see Adriana now? She's got work for us.
Right,
Or did you need a beer? Did you need to top yourself up?
Well,
Stop him at the bar and then go there ourselves. He's not gonna prove. Like,
you know what? That's like the best idea I've heard today.
We're going to the bar.
Yeah, no, leave me at the bar and
Leave him at the bar.
yeah.
What if he pukes up again though? I just said.
You-
well,
I'll
then
join
we
you
just said
guys
We don't
when-
know him.
I'll join you guys once you have the mission.
But he's kind of like, I don't know. I think we should all
Gonna
go.
vomit in your beard again.
Yeah, I think we need to look after him. If he's going to the bar, I'm following him. If he's going to Adriana, I'll go to Adriana.
All right.
Sorry.
You probably might have to stay outside. I mean, a child is not really appropriate in a bar. Just
She's
saying.
not.
How old
she's
are
not
you?
a child.
How old I am? Old enough to be your father.
Are you still inside the shop at this point, by the way?
What?
Are you still inside the shop at this point?
Yes.
Are you her? Are you her dad?
Yeah, so, Norin at this point says, I've read about Gnome. She could potentially be about 200.
You couple.
To
And
what?
you cut out
Yeah,
completely.
he's dead.
Completely.
Mike is dead.
2 years.
Mic drop.
Idea.
Get it? Because he's called Mike and Mike drop.
Is he
So
gone?
I'm old enough to be your dad. It's like, how old is your character out of curiosity, Nimble?
Like 30.
So old.
I didn't know they could be.
Yeah, gnomes live for hundreds of years.
Well, so 30 is relatively young, but still an adult, I guess.
No, you mature at roughly the same rate humans do,
Yeah, that's what I
but
mean.
you're still considered very young by society.
That's what I
And
meant.
then you. Yeah. Okay, so you leave. So what is the plan? Are you actually just dropping the alcoholic off at an inn?
Apparently,
No,
we're joining
no.
him.
I'm not leaving him. If he sticks on that beard, that chin looks quite good now. Now it's all.
Why do you
all the
feel the need to take care of him?
Look,
Why do you
He's
feel the need to
supposedly old.
speak, child?
If you're
She's not
supposed
a
to be old
child.
enough to be my father, why do you need someone to look after you?
look.
I
I'd
never
rather
said-
trust you in a bar than him in a bar.
You
Sorry,
want to
what?
touch me in a bar? You
I'm
are.
not touching it. I said trust.
Ah, okay.
So, what are we doing? Do you want to go to the bar? Let's go to the bar. I storm off towards wherever the bar is. It's next door, isn't it?
So from your perspective at this point, it is over a slight rise, and then there's a number of houses that are just sort of lined up going up this hill towards the windmills that you saw, and then it's the larger building on the left-hand side.
I start to go the opposite way, and then stop and go. Hang on a minute. I don't know where I'm going. Where are we going?
This way.
All right. Okay. Let's follow.
No,
Yeah.
no, just
Redirect
it's just over the hill past the mining exchange.
Wait, we're still in the fucking building.
You can't sit.
Oh God.
She's a gnome, by the way, and as you're just exiting, you just hear him under his breath. You
fucking idiot.
I love this guy. I want to meet him when we
Did you hear that, human? He called you a fucking idiot.
Google Hangouts.
Right.
So we're moving towards the bar, right?
Yeah.
Where's the bar in the map?
So where you have the fire cock where you've just been, I apologize.
What are you talking about?
It's called the Dusty Boots, and there's an arrow pointing up to
Oh,
it.
there it
It's
is.
roughly middle, just up and right slightly.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, so you walk up over this hill, just walking along this lush green grass in the summer sunshine. Not too much of a care in the world at this point. You have a fair view of the village. There's more houses that go down towards the left-hand side at this point. There's a square with larger buildings around it, which you assume is the inn and Apelop supplies. There's a fountain, which seems to be burbling away merrily. And then off down that next to a very rapidly rushing river, there are a number of farms where there are fields of wheat growing in the summer sun. There's a logging operation that's in full effect at this point. You can see men of all different heights, men and women. There are some dwarves, potentially even an elf or two that you see cutting through this thick pine wood and gradually just taking them to the lumber mill and sawing it into planks. As you head towards the Dusty Boots, there are a much larger number of dwarves at this point, who are sitting in. It's a building that's effectively open to the elements on one side. It looks like there's some kind of wooden shutter that could be run down, but it's currently open. There's a bar in the back. A large number of bits of parchment are sort of just strewn all over the place, and there's a number of very, very wide but relatively short boots covered in dust and muck that are out on the doorstep as you walk up to it. There's a few humans and a few dwarfs sitting inside, day drinking.
So we're outside the tavern?
You're outside the Dusty Boots.
Okay, in that case, Cormac would suddenly look full of regret, and I would like to do a willpower check.
Yeah, make a wisdom save in that case.
Is that the...
D20 plus 5. Because you're proficient at wisdom saving throws.
Would you say that's a success or a failure?
How much of an alcoholic is your character?
Pretty much.
You're aware of the sort of implications of what getting extremely drunk in a place like this, somewhere where you've just gotten to, when you know the kind of reputation that you've had in the past, and you decide to yourself at this point that maybe getting drunk isn't actually a good idea, and you sort of shrug off the desire to get as tanked up as you can.
Good.
Because you know that if you do, you will cause trouble.
Mm.
And you're realizing that maybe this is kind of up to you, but beneath your graphic exterior, you're enjoying traveling with people again and not being by yourself, and you don't want to fuck that up.
He wants to fuck that. I mean, what? So he says, you know what? I don't need that ale.
What time is it? Sorry, just a quick question. In the game.
10.
In the game,
Look at the sun.
Don't look at the Cormac. Look at the sun, dwarf.
That really hurts, actually. My eyes feel quite bad.
General expression. You weren't supposed to look, you buffoon.
Just like stare. I can't hear him. I've gone.
Okay, so you rolled into town at about just after midday. You've not been here for very long at this point. You've probably been wandering around for about half an hour, so it'll probably be about 2 in the afternoon.
I mean, we can get a drink if you want, but if we need to do some jobs, I want to kind of get that done today.
You know, I don't need that drink. Let's just go before I change my mind.
Finally.
All right. So where's the village hall from here? Let's start looking around.
Just a large building, right? That's what.
Oh, that one.
It's relatively easy to orient yourself
Yeah.
in here, and again, having a ranger with you, very useful. No need to check and see if you get lost. She remembers perfectly that from where you are now, it's back down the street that runs sort of gently as a curve down the hill, and then just round from there slightly, and it's the large building that you really can't miss. It's one of the few 2-story buildings in the village.
Just follow me. I'll take you there.
All right.
Following the gnome as she leads, Cormac, you're slightly irritated at the relatively slow pace that you have to set, but it does ease your stump slightly, not moving as quickly as you possibly can all the time. You gradually make your way there, moving through clumps of people. Some of the ladies in the village carrying baskets of washing. Some of the men as well are helping out. There are a number of odd looks you get.
Did you say
trio
ladies?
I keep an extra eye on Sly after what I heard from James.
What? Oh,
The-
right, yeah.
You keep an eye on Sly, but he is most determined to make a nuisance of himself. He sees something he likes the look of, and he rushes up and swipes the headscarf off one of these washerwomen who are coming up the hill. And he just sprints down with it. Luckily, the woman just seems to find this quite amusing.
Grimald also
With
finds that amusing.
with
Look
a-
at the
with a-
dog!
Look at that dog! Look at what your dog's doing! Look at it!
Cormac just shakes his head and looks at it.
People would do the same.
I dig an elbow into Cormac. Cormac, look what's happening!
I'm not looking. Cormac closes his
It's,
eyes.
Sly brings the ribbon back to you after a while of running around with it. It's mostly in shreds at this point.
Nibble would hand it over to Cormac and say that he might use that in the future.
You do also have another option at this point, Cormac, with your cantrips if you chose mending.
Yeah, can I mend the scarf?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a significant amount of it.
He wants to do
you
that.
focus on it. There's a
Malaya
slight
Zukama.
flash of,
Sorry.
you say those words, but they don't really have any effect. You kind of just look like a street magician.
Okay,
And
good.
the headscarf, all of the
I love scarves, okay?
it remains
I-
soaked in giant weasel spit, but the rents and shreds in it repair themselves, and it forms a mostly complete headscarf again.
Can I be totally sold on the fact that the words made effect? I'm just following
Yeah,
the whole
make an
magician.
insight check,
Wait, what is he doing an insight check for? I was...
just to see if he's convinced by your magical words.
Insight is...
Malay Kailas Nuka.
Where's insight, Sarah?
And,
It's Leviosa!
actually, I think insight might be wisdom, so I want...
Fucking Lee.
Yeah, make an
this one.
Yeah, plus ones. See if you're so you're not necessarily that easy. Yeah,
5.
you're totally convinced. It's definitely the words. That's how it works.
That man is a man of good magic. That's brilliant.
Okay, is it repaired?
It's fixed.
Then he would walk towards the lady and hand it over to her. And while doing so, bowing. In a very gentleman manner.
Fucking
Thank you
ass licker.
very
What
much,
a
sir.
creep.
What? Who said what?
Thank you very much, sir. The handkerchief means a lot to me. But then she reaches down and starts ruffling Sly's ears,
Okay.
and they're all completely distracted by the dog.
Course.
Dog.
A weasel.
Not getting
Would
late.
they not know that it's not a dog?
Hang on, that's
Inside check.
no. She knows it's a giant weasel, really.
Alright.
There's only me.
It's only me.
It's only me.
It's a nice
Okay.
dog.
So after that brief, bizarre exchange, you continue moving down the hill. This is building's completely closed off with a large set of double doors.
Yeah, I just want to go in.
I love the silence that it just comes.
It's just when I'm waiting for you guys to do something, and I'm gonna say like, yep, it'll happen eventually. Okay,
When
so
we
yeah,
realize-
Grimold, you walk up and you push the door open. There is a counter about 2 meters back from the door, where there's a very sort of bored, hungry, and sleepy-looking young man behind the counter.
Again? What the fuck's wrong with this town?
Now, there's also several doorways that move in, like one doorway either side of this counter.
If he
So,
stutters as well, I'm
not
out
all
of
of
here.
Excuse me, young lad. We're here to see
Hello.
Adriana. Is she about?
She's in the back, going through.
Alright, okay. This one's
It's
not
not
as nice
granite.
as the last one. Yeah, and then swat towards the back.
Cormac follows, walking
So you-
stalwart as always.
It leads into. It doesn't matter which door you take; they both lead into an area that's the main part of this building. There are a number of desks around, people who are writing, just taking notes. There aren't very many desks in here. There's about 2 or 3 really. It's a storage space for just racks and racks of books and parchment and tomes on the right-hand side. And on the slightly raised area, stepped up by railings at the back, there is a half-elven woman who is sort of head down over some notes with a few ink splotches on her face and on her hands.
I'll just address the room. Excuse me, which one of you is Adriana?
The half-elven woman and on the raised area at the back of the room with the now clearly more important-looking desk looks up. Oh, that would be me.
Jimmy, who owns the shop that's called the thing. I don't know.
Oh, you mean James? Yes.
Aye, Jimmy, yeah, that is a good lad.
Perception
you
check,
might-
please.
What for?
And to just get a general feel of this place. See.
Can I do the same but with her?
Yeah, I want to do it on her, like at the perception check.
If you make an insight check, both of you in that case, rather than the perception check.
Okay, I don't know what you want me to use, but I have so that's +5 for me.
If you're proficient in it's a skill in wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're proficient in insight,
Yes,
it's a +2 and then your wisdom modifier.
which is
In your
+3.
case, nimble is just a +1 for you,
Eight.
but yours is a +5.
Oh my
I
god.
bet you roll higher than he does.
Yep.
9.
Well, go ahead. I don't even want to do this.
You, Cormac, you see
A woman. Thank you.
fairly pretty half-elf woman with a sort of grey streak in her very dark hair,
Polgara.
who's looking up maybe slightly irritated by someone who has just interrupted her whilst she's working by loudly shouting across her office. Nimble, you see someone that's very, very stressed out and is having to. Looks like she's got an awful burden on her shoulders at this point, and no one that she really feels she can share it with. There are lines below her eyes and bags, so she hasn't slept well for a few days, at least you would guess. And her voice says that she is harassed at the moment and doesn't really have anyone to turn to.
Alright.
I'm not making
As well
a
as-
check.
Well, you're wise-ish, so you could.
Jimmy said you might have some jobs going.
I don't suppose you fancy killing a few bandits, do you? She laughs nervously.
Oh, the Blood Eye Bandits.
Yes,
Is that right?
yes.
Oh,
that's what
we've
they
done that
call
already.
themselves.
We've done it already. Don't you worry about that. We can do more if is there more?
How many have you killed?
I don't know. A lot? A few? 6, 5, 4. More than 2. Definitely more than 2. Cormac, how many bandits should we kill?
He would hold up 3 fingers.
Either one of you other two. How many have you killed?
I just
Holds
smiled.
3 fingers up.
How many did we kill?
3
Well, what we
fingers
did-
up.
We killed
You
like
killed
3.
6, guys.
No!
And then what happened was, I'm in character by the way, totally remember that. And then what happened was, there was a big scarecrow, and it was alive. It wasn't a real, it was kind of a real scarecrow, but it was alive, and then there was more in the woods, and then I don't know really what happened.
We've had
Can I
a
tell the
few
story, sir?
run-ins with those scarecrows as well. Fortunately, Scory was able to help us with them.
Scoring?
But the priest,
Oh.
he lives in the temple, away north. It's
How would you
really.
spell that?
Can I see if I know that name from somewhere?
Scory.
You do like an insight check to see if I know that name? Or familiar with it? No?
The name is. You don't need to make a roll. The name
I
is
don't
a
know.
fairly common dwarven name. You are a stranger in Bastion, and you
I have no
haven't
idea.
really made any friends yet. So no, you don't recommend. You know of a couple of stories from your past. One real arsehole of a dwarf,
Yeah,
peg
he's
leg
next to
similar
me.
to yours.
Oh.
Is he a dwarf by any chance?
Yeah, yes, he is. He is. He's. I take it you're from Silverspear, judging by
Aye.
your armor and weapon.
Yeah.
No, he's from Tarak himself. He's a hill dwarf.
Alright, okay. So we go to him and kill bandits.
The ideal would be at the moment, actually. I think. I can. Here, take this, and she hands you the map of Northern Bastion that you've already been looking at. A merchant dropped this off, and we have no real need for it. But if you look here, and she draws in the section that has bandit camp on it.
Cormac would sigh and say, "Next thing they'll say is that they will send us off to a basement to kill some rats."
So,
We don't have much of a rat problem in town, actually. The
I'm
thing
sure.
is, about these bandits, we really don't know how many there are, but we know there are at least 30 of them.
30.
So, it might not be such a good idea for you to actually try and take them on by yourselves.
Have you got
And
any
we-
militiamen?
None that we can spare. Maybe
Right.
if you went and you scouted the situation, you'd be able to find something that you can use for your advantage, but
So she's a tactician now. I love it.
I just look at
how old do you
Killian
think I
Conlon.
am, human?
Old enough to be my mother.
Old enough to be your grandmother, but definitely not. Well, I can only imagine how your grandmother feels with a grandson like yourself.
She's dead.
And Nimble would just nod in agreement.
Sick burn there.
Oh. I don't understand what you mean by sick burn. I assume you're
it's a
complimenting me
dwarven-
insults.
It's a dwarven saying you did good to say that to him.
Thank you, dwarf. For now, I would suggest that word has arrived of your deeds, and I've already heard from Wilbur that he'd be willing to put you up in the wagon wheel for free this evening. Food and drink on him. But
Drinks.
you
Drinks?
should probably rest the night here. If there's anything else you want to do or have a wander around the village, there may be some not rat killing duties, but something that possibly could take your attention. I'm afraid it's unlikely the three of you will be able to deal with the bandit issue by yourself, if you don't mind me saying.
We've got a weasel as well.
It's a dog called Weasel. Sorry about this. He's not that bright.
It's a weasel
That's
called Sly.
Clearly a giant weasel.
Thank you.
It's a dog.
Adrian.
Cormac would try to, scruff. What's his name? Grimold's hair.
I just
Grimald
can I
has a
put that away?
helmet on.
Okay, he would pat the helmet.
Grimald doesn't have a helmet on.
Oh,
Okay.
don't you?
He doesn't. No.
Do you have hair?
I do have long.
Yeah, he
ginger
scruffs it.
hair.
No, long.
Didn't
ginger
you
hair.
look at the drawing?
Look at
I
the
did.
picture.
I looked at the drawing. I'm sorry. There's
Don't
a
worry.
lot to keep track of at the moment, guys. You'll have to forgive me if I don't remember your exact
Shit,
style of
DM.
barnet.
Boo.
Don't worry.
Yeah, can I try and dodge out of the way of that hair ruffle, please?
Okay.
No.
Pass. Make a sleight of hand check. Cormac.
Okay.
That's dexterity, and I don't think you're proficient at sleight of hand. So
No.
it's a +2.
Yeah, I have rolled d20 and -1, I guess.
Yeah, for a dexterity check. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
still pretty good. Pretty fly.
You look down and you see an area of rug on the floor, and you think, perfect. You brace yourself and you just shift your peg leg slightly, placing it so it makes no noise in the carpet, and you reach down to your left-hand side for Grimold's head, and you just ruffle his hair.
Don't you do that to me.
You're so cute when you blush.
That's not blushing. That's anger, pal. Don't you do that again.
Anyway.
You've made a couple of interesting friends, Gnome.
part of me wishes I had stayed.
Should I stay or should I go?
I sincerely hope you and the weasel have more sense than these two.
It's a dog.
Damn it.
I hope to prove that to you as well.
Right, so what are we doing?
Well, there were the bandits, and then there was Scory. Was that his name?
Yes. So that's the Temple of Windrush.
He'd encountered the scarecrows before.
Yes.
That'd be nice to hear about when he knows.
All right.
So there is one thing, of course. James has been chafing about the bandit issue for some time. If you wanted to speak to him regarding it, any plans that he may have, then it might be an idea. He's more formidable than he lets on.
What was the name of his store again?
Apolop. Apolop Supplies.
I don't think he likes me very much.
I know for a fact that I don't like him very much.
Well, he's a nice guy. He's just a bit moody. That's all.
I don't like that guy.
It's a gut instinct that you have about him. You think he's untrustworthy. Remember, you can always ask to or you can always roll an insight check on someone if you think they're lying or if you think they're concealing something from you.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna roll those dice and I will fail horribly.
Right. Miss Eddie, I don't think we need to waste any more of your time.
I don't think you need to waste any more of my time either. Thank you very much.
See you later. And I just got to walk out.
We'll be nearby if you need help with anything.
Stomp, 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 stomp
Yeah,
across
clock,
across the floorboards. Dust rising with every step as your
Mhm.
stout dwarven form
And
Yes.
takes you swiftly out of the door.
And before we exit, Cormac would just nod at her and then leave. Exit last.
Yeah,
And they
she
both would nod as well.
nods at both of you, smiles at you, Nimble, with the nod, and you
Pity smile.
exit above. No, just a smile of you've got a lot of shit to put up with.
Yeah, pity smile.
Okay, so where do you guys want to go next? And also, depending on whether you want to start calling it soon, I don't know when you want to go to. I'm pretty good to carry on for a little bit longer.
I'm fine to carry on.
I'm fine.
Can I do a constitution check, please?
What
Okay. For checking if I can go on, but I'm kidding. I can go
Joke.
on.
It was a joke.
Windrush.
Ha 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 ha.
What was it?
Make a dexterity saving throw. Nah, you're dead. No,
Can I like leave the village hall, then like really like with force, but then realize that I have no idea where I'm going, so I just stand and wait. It's like
you storm out of the village hall and you
Yeah.
just walk off immediately in let's just roll a dice. To your left. And you
Yeah.
just walk past a couple of houses and then you realise you're walking rapidly down a slope that leads down as a fairly sheer drop, and then you kind of just stop and realise that you've no fucking clue where you're going.
yeah,
And you've gone in the opposite direction of the temple.
brilliant.
Can we just follow me, please?
All right, I turn back around and see that they're there. Stop. Follow them.
Okay, so you you see that they sort of followed after you away and they're just looking after you impatiently. You turn back around. What's the plan now, guys? Where do you want to go?
The temple,
Yeah.
I believe.
Temple.
Okay, so you move back up north. It's a very small village. So it doesn't take more than 10 minutes to walk. So move back up past the village hall, past the tithe centre again. It looks like they've got most of the supplies unloaded from the wagons. Reginald waves at you. James is distracted, speaking to a young a male half-elf who is holding a ledger. He's quickly taking notes in it. You move up past the Fireheart Costa, and then past the mining exchange, where there are a number of there's more parchment hanging from this place. It looks almost exactly the same as the Dusty Boot, in fact, only rather than there being pints poured behind the bar, there are sacks of gems and sacks of ore being measured, and a dwarf just laughing heartily in the back as he pays a human for the amount that he's managed to dig. And then a dwarf walks up with a sack. Please bear with me on this, guys. That's easily twice the size of the humans, and he slams that down on the measure, and then continues moving. And then you walk up and over a hill, and then you see Windrush Temple which is built completely differently from the rest of the temples, or the rest of the buildings in this village. There are 4 simple stone houses surrounding an enormous building that's open on the southern side with 4 pillars supporting it. 1 tower that has a large set of double doors that leads into it, that's completely closed off, that then leads into the open-faced section. Just this massive stone structure that goes up with probably a good 40-50 feet tall, with a tall steepled slate roof that's built of a stone that's very dark, that clearly isn't local to this particular area.
Alright.
This is the part where we do something, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I weren't really listening to where we were going, so I'm just following Nimble.
Yeah, I'm following Nimble too.
Alright, go
She-
inside.
What do we get to do a perception insight check or whatever?
Ooh,
What if you're looking for anything in particular? Yeah.
The person we are supposed to see, meet, or someone that looks, to be in charge of sorts.
Nimble will
Make a
just look for
perception check.
anyone.
What did you say,
Yeah,
Tilly?
Nimble would just look for anyone to ask.
Yeah.
Is that also a perception check?
No, shit, did I... Ah, I did. Well, I goofed.
Should I make a perception check as well?
Yeah. Anyone that wants to make a perception check can do.
There we go.
I wanna check that stonework because I know I can. Basically.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
look at me.
And that would mean you count as proficient in history, and you double your proficiency modifier, don't you? So you would roll a d20 plus. Are you proficient in history?
No.
So it's a d20 plus 3 in this case.
+3.
Yeah, and actually, let me just check, because I don't want to misremember stone cunning, because it's a pretty flavorful dwarven ability in my.
I just had it, but sorry.
Oh, it's cool. It won't take me long to find.
I've got it. I'll read it for you.
Yeah, but then how do I trust you? Stone cunning.
I've got a book.
Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you're considered proficient in history and add double your proficiency bonus to the check instead of your normal proficiency bonus. So yeah, you basically it's a -1 for your intelligence, but a +3 for double your proficiency bonus.
So is that +2 or is it just +3?
It's a +3.
18.
18. Okay, you take a look at it. This was not built by humans. Wow, you quickly revised that. The buildings, the small stone houses, they're very neatly put together for human work, but they're definitely human work. They have no windows on any of them, but a door on each of them that faces towards the temple as you approach it. The temple itself, clearly not built by human hands. It's actually a little strange and a bit disorienting, but it's not Elven. It's not Dwarven. It wasn't built by humans. You've seen gnome handiwork, and it's definitely not that either. You actually do not know who built this. The stonework is incredible, though. As you approach just from up the hill, you can see that each one of the 4 pillars in the open facing are carved in different fanciful ways, but you recognize one of them almost instantly is the dwarven god Weract, a colossal dwarf who is doing his part to hold up the roof, a huge beard hanging down and various runes carved all over his form. The rest of them, there's an elven maiden and 2 human-looking statues that it's like a combination of a statue and a pillar. Sorry, that hold these up.
Mm-hmm.
The joint work in the stone is so fine you can barely see where the stones join each other, but the building is clearly very old as well.
Cool.
Okay.
Did I
So
see
making
anything?
your perception checks.
I did.
There isn't anyone outside at this point, besides yourselves.
Is that all I get?
I thought we entered.
No, if you're going into the building, you walk up to the double doors, push them open. They swing open. This here, Grimald, is clearly human made. These doors are not that old at all, but they're still quite well made, quite well fitted.
Are they heavy? Can I open them?
They swing open without too much effort from you.
Alright.
Very slight squeaking as they open.
Guess we look for anyone if it's not completely empty.
You walk in. Hello there.
Hi. We're looking for Scory.
You found him.
Nice. We were told by a nice.
You don't actually. You hear a voice, and then there's a slow tap tap, shuffle tap tap shuffle, and a ancient dwarf steps out with a white beard that falls over his simple robe, simple sort of light green robes. It's braided in places. It's immaculately groomed. There's no hair on the top of his head, and what little there is on the back just sort of stands up crazily in the slight breeze that blows in from the double doors being opened and the open front of the temple.
Mhm.
And he just walking with a very elegantly carved wooden cane, and he just tap 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 tap, and he just keeps coming closer and closer until he is uncomfortably within your personal space. And you can tell now that his eyesight is a little bit dodgy. Oh, no.
Greetings.
Nice to meet you.
Same to
Sorry.
you.
And you?
Nimble. We were told by a nice girl named Adriana that you had encountered these scarecrows before we met them on our way here.
Oh,
Proved to be quite the trouble.
An ugly business. There were only 3 or 4 of them. I shoot them off myself. Yes.
What can you tell us about them?
It's dirty magic.
Do we know what kind of magic? Cormac says, looking down.
Necromancy. And who might you be?
My name is Cormac. A pleasure to meet you, sir.
He reaches out his hand and shakes it. You smell like static. Trouble.
He is trouble.
You would be
Definitely
correct,
trouble.
sir.
The good kind of trouble.
No, I think it's bad news.
Oh, mountain dwarf. And who might you be, sir?
Grimald Rockbread, sir. Great to meet you.
And Nimble would seize the opportunity to back off a little now that he's addressing the others. She likes her
with a
space.
speed that belies how old he is, you watch as his head just sort of turns on his neck and his eyes lock with you as you step backwards slightly.
Oh god. Alright.
He's just tracking your movement.
Can I put my hand out to shake his hand?
He shakes yours, the traditional dwarven grip, you know, just the secret handshake that dwarves share.
You know when they touch the pinky finger on the inside of the hand, like.
Don't pretend you know.
What it actually looks like is one of them sort of raises their leg like that, and they reach through and do this. No.
Make the old man do that,
Please.
No, it's just a normal handshake.
And followed by a bro fist.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Now, how exactly can an old dwarf help you?
We want to know about the scarecrows and the bandits.
We want to put an end to them.
I want to see if we can do anything to help.
That's of noble intentions. How much do you know of Apolop?
Insight, perception, willpower, stuff. Want to see what.
What do you actually want to check for?
I want to check if I know anything about it.
Okay, you recall it is the name. The only thing that you've heard that name mentioned with it is the name of the shop that James Averton runs.
Me.
And it becomes making that connection. You think to yourself, why would someone called James Averton, who runs a shop, run a place called Apolop Supplies?
Can I not even make that connection?
He's the bandit
This
leader.
is Cormac making that connection.
I have no idea.
And okay, Cormac, you have that level of knowledge about the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Should I make a check as well? Or
You don't need to make a check. That is the only time that you've heard the name. At this
Do you know
point,
its faults? I'm just
I
trying-
will refresh your memories if you need to. If I have mentioned anything about a particular subject that you guys
Right.
forget, because
So
apart
what did-
from Grimold, who I would probably make do an intelligence check with a fairly low difficulty because
He wasn't
is a
listening
bit
anyway.
What did Scory say about Apelop again?
how much do you know about Apelop?
Not a whole lot. What can you tell us?
He was a friend of James in their youth. They used to make trouble together, go on a few adventures, wander off from the village for months at a time, and just generally make nuisances of themselves. It was a lack of a fatherly input for either of their upbringing. But Apelop came back with enough gold to start a business that he and James started running. And a few weeks ago, before all this trouble began, a stranger arrived in town, and Apelop just they seem to get on extraordinarily well. It's this odd man in his grey robes. Didn't like the look of him. Before long, Apelop disappeared from the village. And shortly after, these bandit attacks started happening. I can't help but think that perhaps the two are connected somewhat.
It sure sounds like it is.
He was quite the fighter in his youth, and whilst he is a larger man nowadays, I'm sure he has retained enough of his prowess to train others. That's all I really know of the bandits. The scarecrows themselves. Foul magic.
Question
Is
is,
it connected to the
coming from?
bandits?
how could the magic be connected to the
please,
bandits?
please, one at a time. My old ears can't possibly.
How
understand
could
all of this.
the magic be connected to the bandits? Are they more like cultists?
the judging by the markings on their eyes and their attitudes, they seem more than simple bandits to me. They're driven by some kind of cause potentially, but I would have to imagine that whoever this rogue man is that's influenced Apelop to leave, quite possibly some kind of evil wizard.
Do you know where
wizard.
the scarecrows are coming from?
No idea.
Do
The
you
first we knew of them is when somehow no one seemed to notice this. Perhaps I would have if I'd spent more time in the village. The scarecrows that they kept hung up in the wheat fields down by the river came to life and started attacking the farm workers. And that is when I was called in to drive them off.
They don't
They do-
like fire.
They do burn rather easily, don't they?
I bought some oil, and I'm going to throw one at one if I see one again.
May I ask, what is your duty in this town?
I dispense wisdom.
Insight check.
Yeah, if you want to try and...
Yeah, he's fucking bluffing this fucker. Okay. Plus, since I have insight, +5, yes. Okay, he's obviously not bluffing. He's never made more sense in his whole life.
He seems like a fairly wise old dwarf to you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try to read his body language and stuff as well?
Yeah, if you want to make an insight check as well.
We edgy as fuck.
Paranoid. I
Insight.
really need a piss. Holy crap.
Me too.
Shall we stop?
Shall we
And
call it a
just say-
piss?
How much longer do you guys want to keep going for? It's getting close to 11 o'clock now, so midnight your time.
16. Yeah, I mean, we can call it.
Yeah, you
When
you
we
get-
reach midnight.
On your time, okay, so we'll go for another 15 minutes. I do need a pee, so I'll do that quickly, but just after this. So, Nimble, he's honest, he's completely honest. There's nothing that he said to you that seems like it's a falsehood, but there is something that you find quite frightening about him. And he reminds you of some of your teachers back home.
Would we be able to see some kind of frightness on Nimble?
It depends you want
Tilly?
to try and mask your realization, Tilly?
Yes.
Nimble,
That
make a
one hit
deception
hits.
check in that case. Thanks. No, that's great. Good.
21. A natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, facing the mask. You realize this, but you school your expression. And let me just... Oh my god.
What?
And again, you see an ever so slight smirk creep across this dwarf's face, and he just his eyes just dart to yours for a second.
Kill him.
Nimble, as you're having this realization.
Someone got a natural 20 now.
Yeah, he rolled one as well.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, a bit of discipline, words of warning and advice. I've lived quite a long time, and I've seen some interesting things in my time. I would suggest that, and with any kind of spell casting involved, some cases it's best to fight fire with fire. Don't suppose any of you have got any kind of sorceress friends.
I've got oil, and I just take a flask and just show him it.
After that,
Can
now
co-
that
can
that's a
co-
bit of a bookmark, I'm going to go for a piss before I fucking die.
Okay.
So I'll be back in a second.
Well, carry on role playing, don't worry.
Standing
will-
up is painful.
Yeah. Just go. I'll be the game master now.
I guess we just leave anyway because we got what we came for.
I'll just show you all my flask of oil while we're waiting for him.
Cormac, would try to push it away your hand?
Get off my... This is my oil.
You
didn't
are
buy me oil.
offending the man. Stop being
Hey, it's
being you.
fine. Stop being me.
Nibble would just be pondering to herself, not really saying much.
And as Cormac drifts off, he thinks about peeing, and that is what Robin is doing at the moment. BRB.
At the moment, right now.
Yes,
Please stop doing
in
it.
my pants. I will go and empty the rest.
Alright, what do we do now? This is spoopy.
I don't know. I'm just gonna stay quiet.
You have some random emotes.
I don't have any emotes on Twitch. I don't follow anyone.
You have to subscribe to get the emotes.
I don't subscribe to anyone. I'm not a Twitch person.
There you go.
I think the only emotes I've got from was it Felicia Day that did like a set of emotes once, and that was it was like a one-off payment. Yeah.
You should,
There you go.
so angry.
So angry. Not really a Twitch person. I don't really get it all.
I'm subscribed to Fat Boss and Fenner.
Oh yeah, that's the little fat boss. thing,
Guess who's back? When are we gonna raid again?
Hi,
by the
Michael.
way? I'm not Michael.
Not Michael.
I know it was a joke.
Yeah, it's a funny guy. It's a funny guy.
Hey Robin, do you recognize that little icon that I just sent in your chat?
No,
This
I.
is a test. This is a test, by the way, for rating.
Yeah, test.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Right, that means.
Oh
he's
my
not
god,
watching
yeah,
it.
he's not watching tactic videos.
No, I've never watched a tactic video in my life.
Fat boss.
You've never heard of Fat?
I have, but I don't know what this doesn't tell me anything. The icon.
That's their icon.
Oh, I have seen a video that Serania linked, but I have no idea that that's the icon.
He's not in the chat. You don't have to pretend.
What's going on?
We're talking about raiding.
We just realized that Robin has never watched a tactic video in his life.
What?
I have, but it's
Video,
because
and he
Serania
had
said-
no idea what Fat Boss was.
Oh, he's
I know what it is. I didn't know what the icon was that you typed in
It's
the
the
chat.
Fat Boss face.
I don't know what a fat boss face is. What does that have to do with tactics?
Shut up.
They make the
I've got a
tactic
flask
videos.
of oil. Take it. Look.
Yes, I'm sure that will be very effective.
Hey.
Remold.
Okay.
I've got a sense of pride because he's another dwarfer's compliment of my skill and planning.
Oh
and
god
preparation.
damn it! I guess we're
Are
done
we
here, and Cormac would bow, say his thanks, and head out.
Nimble would hurry up without She would nod at Scory, but like then just rush out.
I'd offer my hand again.
You, Cormac, are you sure you don't want to take a look around the temple?
Cormac would reply, "You know what? Maybe that's a good idea. It's been a while."
He shows you. He just takes you into the main room, which is again, it's a very, very simple plain room with massive flagstone flooring and a very high ceiling that goes. It's clear all the way up. There are stone support beams and arches that go across, but it's just a steepled roof. But it's the pillars themselves that draw your attention, and this is something that you're familiar with from where you've been. And it's the four gods, four human gods. You have Weract as Grimold recognized, the dwarven god of the earth and justice. All things dwarven and good. And then moving through, and there's Nalcian, the sun and fire, archery, war, sport, all of those sorts related. And it's a handsome, grinning human face who's just holding an aimed bow that's pointed at the ceiling, all carved out of one solid piece of red stone of some kind that you don't recognize. Then it moves on to the next one, and it's the last two that draw your attention. And it's an image of a woman with her hands clasped in front of her face, weeping clearly, with combined with a stylized sculpture of the moon, which moves up to the ceiling, and this is Selûne. And then another clearly Alvan woman, this time, or half Alvan possibly. Actually, it is rather difficult to tell. It seems to shift as you look at it. Just in a stylized lightning bolt from floor to ceiling, carved out of what looks to be gold. As you take a look at them, if you make a perception check.
Yep. You're not allowed to yawn, Tilly.
Oh,
Alright.
for a very, very brief second, your vision blurs slightly, and you find that you have to look away from the statue to air.
Cormac looks away.
Okay.
Alright.
There is one thing I would like to give you, Cormac. If you take this,
Cormac tries to take a look at
may help you answer some of the questions that you have. He hands you a very, very old-looking stone statuette that's about that tall. It has an image of Selûne, identical to the pillar that you're looking at. And on the other side of it, so as if there are two faces like that, effectively, it looks similar to Selûne, but it's more feral looking. And rather than being a sad face weeping, it's the same hands held together, but they almost look like sort of rubbing together with a sort of glee. And it's an image of this particular goddess that you've never seen before.
Can I do a perception or insight check on it itself, or history check maybe?
You can make a religion check about
All right.
this.
Yeah, I would like to do that, and I do not have a religion, but it is still a +1.
Yeah, this is what you know of the gods.
So +2, 1, +1.
It's your intelligence. If you're not proficient,
12,
it's just an intelligence roll.
12 and +1.
1d20 +1. Yeah.
Oh, amazing! I have no idea what that is.
You have no idea. You're very, very, very unfamiliar with this, but it piques your interest as you've never seen this particular goddess depicted this way.
And he would ask, "Do I get to keep it?"
Oh yes, I would appreciate it if you did.
Then you shall have my thanks, and he would take it.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Talvain.
He never said his surname.
Whoa.
God damn
just knows. He just knows.
Oh my god, he's fucking psychic! I did not
You
say.
know, there is one thing about the limited perspective of some of the dwarves, and that we only see our god, and we only see our troubles. But if you open yourself up to different ways of thinking, the information that can be revealed to you is sometimes terrifying.
Could-
You have a long path ahead of you, free.
Can I just lean over to Nimble and go, Hill dwarfs they're a bit weird. Just nod at her as if to say he's crazy.
Cormac would look bemused at his words, and he would contemplate them and hold his tongue, but you can see that a lot was going on in his mind at the moment. But he does regard the dwarf with a nod and takes his words of wisdom. And reassure him, I will heed these words.
I am glad. Now, I have some sweeping I must do, and I can only really do that now whilst it is still light, as you can see. And you, from where you've been wandering, it's getting on into the evening at this point, and the sun is beginning to set now. It's getting on towards the early evening. If you could visit with me, possibly by yourself, Cormac, at some point, and we will speak further on this
His
subject.
fucking Darth Plagueis trying
Oh.
to commune.
That's an impression I didn't realise I could do. Just trying to do an old dwarf voice, but alright. It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. And he would nod and walk over to, if the dwarf is done with his business, he would walk over to the statue of Saloon.
Mm-hmm.
And he would like to give it a quick pray, if he may.
Yeah. You. How to deal with this? Yeah. You kneel down in front of the statue, taking a knee, and you contemplate on this new path that you've been working towards for some time now, and it's a very, very peaceful situation. You can smell the flowers and the pollen and the wind that rushes through the trees, hence the name of the village. To immediately to your south as you're looking out of this temple, and you feel a moment of peace, just nothing more than that.
That's all I need, a peace of mind. And he would get up and join his trusty companions.
Okay. And probably a good place to call it now, actually, guys.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
get on. So it's getting towards the evening. We'll say that, for the sake of argument, that whatever plans you have, we can do next time. So,
Yeah.
So we return to the wagon wheel for the night, I guess.
No, we stop right here, right? Or do we go to the wagon wheel?
You stop here, and then you can decide what you want to do
stop
in the evening next time. Now, there is a very stupid inside joke for the British, Sam, that you'll appreciate about the wagon wheel that I may as well tell now, in that it was a little bit bigger, but there was a fire and a little bit of it burnt down and didn't get rebuilt, so it's ever so smaller, slightly smaller than it used to be.
Please tell me that the door jams as well.
Please, Tilly, tell me you're lost as well, please.
I'm clueless.
Yeah,
fucking
good.
I have no idea what's going
Okay,
on.
so it's a British sweet thing that's like biscuit with jam in the middle with a layer of marshmallow,
Sounds like you, actually.
jam, marshmallow either side, biscuit either side of that, coated in
Only the
chocolate.
jammy ones have jam in them though.
What does that have to do with the wagon wheel?
Because
It
it's
used
called
to
a
be
wagon
big, now
wheel.
it's
Sorry.
smaller. It's called the wagon wheel.
So
So
what?
yeah,
What is? How does that relate to a fire? And now it's smaller.
Because it's just a fucking stupid joke.
Wa-
Kelly. Don't
wagon
put too
wheel
much
is
into
just-
It's
it.
not.
to be big,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is a stupid joke.
I have to
It is.
investigate.
I'll send you some wagon wheels, Tilly.
Can
This
I
is
do
like
it?
that cheeky Nando's thing, isn't it? This must be like explaining that.
No, it's
to-
better than a cheeky Nando's.
Okay.
I liked it. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, after I play the outro song, will you be able to stay a while and listen, as Michael, so we can go through the spells real quick? So I got that sorted out.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
it might be in. Actually, no, we can worry about that. Just so you're aware, if and when you reach level 2 Nimble, you get spellcasting as well.
Oh, Nimble in the Wimble.
Whoa, arcane shot here? No.
Choose fire.
Arcane shot. Fuck.
Barrage.
No.
No.
6 bandits. Suddenly there are 20 bandits. And
Yeah.
a seagull.
And a seagull, yeah.
And does she get taunt for her weasel as well?
That is actually fairly interesting, as the particular path of range that she's chosen does focus on her bond with a pet.
You should
But I
have
don't
her.
think there's any kind of taunt-like mechanics in D&D. There are a few, but it's done under very specific circumstances.
In every fight, she needs to turn it off, otherwise she gets disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Turn off taunts.
Yeah.
Turn taunt off your pet, please!
It costs an action.
Every time. Okay, yeah, well, guys.
Sly, stop growling, please. There we are.
So, final shout out to, well, before, so we can get this show off the road. Follow these buffoons on Twitter. You should have been seeing it all this time because it's under the portraits. Yay!
One day
And
I'll have to
do we have a little teasy weesy for the next episode? What it's called? Do we have like a little slurgy?
Ooh, let me check my notes.
You mean let me make it up?
No, I've got notes. I've got notes.
Okay, yeah, I've got notes too.
I don't have notes. I'm not that.
You can't. You can get out of character now.
I think you could probably call the next one a new companion.
What?
Ooh.
It's the guy who was stuttering!
Yes.
Yay!
I can't remember his name.
Uh,
Got it right down.
Norin.
Doesn't matter.
Norin Dance is his full name.
Norin Dance.
I've come to join you and make all of the RP sections much longer.
Well, what's this? How is it spelled? N-O-R-R-I-N.
I'm gonna hang with it.
Norin or Norin.
Dance.
D-A-N-S-E.
Norin.
To dance.
Okay. Well.
Norin Dance.
Mm-hmm. That's his name.
So I vote for you guys staying in the call for about.
Salmon, I don't have to stay.
What?
Salmon, I don't have to stay.
No, you don't have to, but I would appreciate it if you would.
Fuck
No.
off, I'm done with you guys.
Okay, well, in that case, say goodbye to chat, and we leave.
chat.
Bye, chat. Thank you for.
Goodbye, chat.
Bye.
Yeah,
Hope you
goodbye.
like it.
Thank you for watching. Wave, everybody, wave.
I'm waving, but you can't see it because I'm a fucking paint picture.
It's a beautiful paint.